Championships for the juniors here in Aigle in Switzerland, and you can see the medal standings as we go into day 3 of the competition, with the Republic of Korea standing at the top of the table, 2 gold medals, both men's and women's scratch race for them, so they top the table. France second, New Zealand third, and currently Germany lying in 4th place ahead of the Czech Republic. So that's the way the medal standings are going into today's competition. Early start for the riders this morning. We began the women's Omnium qualification at an hour of 9 o'clock this morning, and you can see what is going to happen during the course of this evening's session. We're going to begin with the men's point race final in just a few moments' time, followed by the women's sprint semi-finals, women's Omnium elimination race, and the women's sprint concluded at the end of the competition. So they also have finals for the men's individual pursuit, and of course the men's point race, which will be the first event we will see on the track. 2 qualification heats brought our riders into this final. A total of 20 riders will take the start, covering 120 laps of the track, which equates to 36 kilometres of racing with 12 sprints. And of course the riders picking up sprints during the course of the race every 10 laps. 20 points for a lap gain. I believe we'll have a video quick guide to the point race for you in just a few moments, just so we can clarify the fine points of it for you. It is one of the more difficult races to follow on the track. You need to keep an eye on not only the riders who are in the main field, but those are also gaining a lap as well. And sometimes riders also going off the back and subsequently losing points. So it all happens in the point race.
The points race is a mass start race over a long distance. It's an endurance race, but tactics are crucial to the rider's success. A sprint is held every 10 laps, which is signalled by a bell. Points are awarded for each sprint. For first place, 5 points. For second, it's 3. Third place, 2 points. And for 4th place, 1 point. In addition to the sprints, riders can earn 20 points for lapping the field and joining the back of the main bunch of riders. The leading rider is indicated by the starter, who stands on the start line and points to the leading rider as he or she passes. The winner is the rider with the most points at the end of the race.
So that's what the point race is very much all about. As I mentioned for you, I'm seeing our start list here. Quite a few riders gaining laps during the course of the 2 qualifying heats earlier today. It's very hotly contested indeed, and you can see many nations represented in this final. Riders just warming up around the outside of the track. They'll then be brought to the start line. Half of them will line up on the fence, and the other half on the inside of the track, held up by a helper. One neutralised lap, and then the gun will fire and the race will get underway, and then it will be all-out action for 120 laps of this 200-metre velodrome here at the World Cycling Centre in Aigle. You can see the riders here having a little chat amongst themselves. They've already been in battle, of course, in the relatively recently completed qualification heats. We completed the last of the qualification rides just over an hour ago, so back on the track for the final pretty rapidly. A couple of riders come into grief during the course of both the qualification heats. But all back up and all able to take their place if they did indeed qualify for the final. We had 20 riders per qualification heat, from which just 10 qualified through to the final from each heat. It was a 20-up final. Amongst them is a rider who finished well in this competition last year, and he also picked up a silver medal in the scratch race competition as well. That's the rider from Mexico, Jordi Ramirez. And the rider who actually picked up that silver in the scratch race, that was Filip Probskin, the rider from Poland. So it's a close-up there of the machinery that will be driven around the track here by this rider. Yep. Yeah. So pretty brisk, the pace of both the qualification heats. First one slightly faster than the second. And we're almost ready to go now. Riders lining up. Starter happy that everyone's there in the right place. So the longest race of these 2018 UCI Junior Track Cycling World Championships will be this men's points race final. Until we get to the Madison on Sunday, more of that later. 120 laps of the track. And of course it's all about picking up points. Double points on the last lap. The slight delay here is one of the riders suffered a last-minute mechanical problem. The rider from the Ukraine there, just having his bike attended to. That's Oleg Kanaka. And he was last year's champion in the points race. So the first lap is a rolling lap. So those three who are off the front, that's not good. Starter saying, nope, you need to do another lap. We need to all be together before we start this race. So the focus will be at the front of the race for the sprints, and that's where the attacking move develop. Rider gains a lap, as we showed you in our explanatory video, by catching up with the rear of the largest group on the track. Almost coming together there immediately. The riders went into the first half lap of the race. Just a little bit of indecision about position on the track there with the Australian and the German rider almost coming to grief, but they're okay, still going. And we are heading towards the first sprint. The sprints come every 10 laps in this race. 5 for the sprint victory, 3, 2 and 1 are the points allocated, and of course 20 points for the lap gain. Lap gain's a little easier on this track here in Aigle, as it's 200 metres as opposed to the normal 250 metres. It's not quite as far to go to gain the lap, and that's the reason we saw quite a few lap gains in both the qualification heats. 5 in the first one, and 4 riders gained a lap in the second as well. Expect a pretty rapid start, and we're 6 laps away from the first sprint. Rider from the Czech Republic there, just at the bottom of the track, that's Jan Vonez. And it's Australia once again who come to the front and begin to increment the pace a little bit here. Max Rushby of Great Britain is the rider in second place. He'll be qualifying in the first heat today, also gaining a lap in the process. The bunch beginning to think now about the opening sprint. It is 4 laps away. A little bit of coming back together though. No one wants to commit too early. Now it's a long race here, almost twice the distance of the qualification heats. Just picking their moment to try and make the way to the front of the bunch. 3 to go now to the sprint. Rider from the Russian Federation is on the front of the bunch, just looking over his shoulder to see who's around him and maybe a threat. That's Vladislav Polozov of the Russian Federation. But as we get 1 lap to go to the sprint, the rider who has gone on the attack here, looking at the first points in this race, is a rider from Thailand. He's got quite a lead here over the chasing bunch behind, so he's at 5 points for Thailand. 3 points will go to the rider second across the line. That was Kojima of Japan, Mazur of Belarus third, and Dedik of Germany in 4th place for a single point. So it was Washorat Sangkamawong of Thailand who picked up the 5 points. And he now returns to the midst of the main field, and we're seeing an attacking move here from France. The first serious attempt to gain a lap as opposed to pure points in the sprint. We've still got 8 to go to the next sprint, so the rider from France here is trying to gain some ground. No serious chase yet, so he will capitalise on this one. It's Louis Brul, the rider from France, who is on the front of the race here, just about quarter of a lap advantage ahead of the chasing peloton. Russian Federation once again come to the front of that chasing group with Vladislav Polozov. Brul, France, beginning to look as though he might just profit from this one. Still 5 to go to the sprint. Of course, there will be an acceleration in the main field as we get closer to the opening sprint, to the second sprint even. And Brul, France will certainly looking for 5 points, but Bunch naturally slows a little after the sprint, so that may be his opportunity to get on the back and to gain that lap, and 20 points into the bargain. He's yet to get any points on the board, didn't score in the opening sprint. But he's looking set fair here with 3 to go. And 2 more riders off the front of the main field. It's Australia and Great Britain giving chase here. And that is Lucas Plapp of Australia and Max Rijby of Great Britain. And 2 more riders also move across that Rijby and Plapp group, but are ahead of the race is still the Frenchman in the back straight, and he will be getting the bell. 1 lap to go to the second sprint here, so a surefire 5 points for the taking here for Louis Brul of France. All kinds of action behind as riders vie for second spot, but it's going to be 5 points for Brul of France. And as we come into the second place, the Ukraine from Great Britain from Australia. So Brul for 5, Kanaka of Ukraine for 3, Rijby of Great Britain for 2, and Plapp of Australia for 1 point. So that means you have 2 leading riders now. Same Kamwong of Thailand, the winner of the opening sprint, and Brul of France, the winner of the second sprint. They're both on 5 points each. Kanaka of Ukraine is in joint 3rd place along with Kojima of Japan. Those who have 3 points each. And just a little bit off the back of the pace here is just trying to rejoin the rear of that main field. And that is our current joint leader. So he's lost a little bit of ground here. 97 laps to go, 7 away from the next sprint, all together at the front. Not managing to gain the lap, but he certainly took the 5 points to give him the joint lead. But the other rider on 5 points has got this gap to try and close. He's lifting himself out the saddle, trying to close it down, but trouble here for our joint leader, rider from Thailand. He will just get back on. The bunch have slowed a little bit, and that will preempt another move from the front of the main field as 2 riders go on the attack. This time, another serious move here, and it has been preempted by Arthur Saint-Rame of Belgium. He has the head of the race here, the Belgian with 94 laps to go, rider in second place. Not quite sure whether to continue this or to await the arrival of the main field. That is the rider in the Argentinian colours, Juan Salazar. Salazar indeed is caught back by the front of the main field, so it is just 1 rider at the head of the race, the Belgian rider in the light blue colours, number 4, 93 laps to go, 3 away from the next sprint. Once again, it's Plapp of Australia at the head of the main field as 5 riders gain a small advantage in that chasing peloton. And Thai rider is in grave danger of losing a lap here. He's once again lost contact with the rear of the main field. So the 5 points he got in the sprint will become minus 15 because he'll lose 20 points if he loses the lap. That's what will happen when the main field catch up with him. At the moment he is just about a quarter of a lap off the back. Meanwhile, our race leader with 1 lap to go to the sprint. The Belgian here looks as though he will hang on for the 5 points. Arthur Saint-Rame. And it is 5 for Belgium. Oh, close for second. I would say Kojima of Japan got that confirmed. Yeah, Kojima for Japan for 3. Mazur for Belarus with 2 points. And Zhu for Korea with 1 point in that sprint. Once again, the attacking moves off the front as the rider from Thailand is caught by the rider at the head of the race. Our lone leader, 88 laps to go, is making good ground here. This is So-Mang Zhu of Korea. He picked up 4th in that sprint and continued the momentum to distance the main field. And the rider from Thailand is about to lose a lap now, caught by the main field, so he'll go to minus 15 and disappear from the top of the leaderboard. Meanwhile, the rider at the head of the race with 87 laps remaining is the Korean. They've had a great World Championship so far, gold medals in both the men's and women's scratch race. And another very serious attempt here to gain a lap in this men's point race. Still 86 laps to go. The Belgian rider we saw winning the most recent sprint is now also at the back of the bunch. But look at this, the Korean Ju is not too far away from the lap gain. The main field have slowed down. This is going to play right into his hands. Ju is within reaching distance of gaining the lap, and the 20 points, there he goes. The first lap gain in this race is taken by the rider from Korea, So Mang-ju. So he gets 20 points added to his total. He goes to the top of the leaderboard, 21 points to the good. And now Kojima of Japan down in second place at 6 points. That's Arome of Belgium with 5 in third place, along with the Brûlé of France, and Mazur of Belarus in fifth place with 4. So that lap gain is a very significant one for Korea in their attempts to dominate the distance racing here in the men's and women's world championships. And once again, as we were just a lap away from the sprint, we see an attacking move off the front. This time the pace has been taken up by Vladislav Polozov, the rider from the Russian Federation, but he's facing tough competition from Italy on his shoulder. And at the line, I think the points will be confirmed for Edoardo Zambanini of Italy. Just wait for that to come up and confirm on our points situation here. It's a little bit slow to update on the computer, so the race continues. Of course, 79 laps to go. Once again, the Thai rider is off the back, and confirmed now that Zambanini of Italy did take the 5 points ahead of Kanaka of Ukraine, who got 3, Polozov for Russia with 2, and Rocheby of Great Britain picking up a single point in 4th place. Once again, the attack comes at the head of the race. Another lone rider goes clear, looking over his shoulder. This time it is Colombia who go on the attack, and Daniel Areve is the man who is looking now for the next lap game. 7 to go to the next sprint, and this time a big reaction in the main field. Poland, Australia and Spain react to the attacking move here by the Colombian. They too are gaining ground. They will soon make contact with our lone leader. So once again, the Thai rider looks as though he's going to lose a second lap very shortly. And the Colombian have to jump onto that move because they have sped right past him. Those two riders gaining ground. There is Prokopskin, the rider who was at third in the second qualification heat this morning, and the Australian Plap is also there as well. Those two riders are now the two leading riders. Poland followed by Australia. Colombia now in third place. The Spaniards decided to await the arrival of the main field. And once again, the rider from Thailand loses a second lap, so he goes further down the rankings. And our two riders at the head of the race are Poland and Australia, being chased by Colombia, then the main field led by the next rider through the line there, who was Kojima of Japan, who currently lies in third place overall in the point standings. Those two riders, though, gaining the lap for Australia and Poland, so they too will move to the top of the leaderboard. A well-timed move there. We've done it in 6 laps. That lap gain for Lukas Plap of Australia, and also for Filip Propolskin of Poland. So they get 20 points each, and just in time for the next sprint. The Colombian is still ahead of the race currently, so he will benefit from the 5 points on the line this time. Rider from Colombia coming into the finishing straight now, and he will win the sprint and get 5 points. Here comes the battle for second. Russian Federation just taking it from the Ukraine in third. Mexico in fourth. Max Rocheby, I think, just missing out on the point there in 5th place. And the rider from Colombia is back in the main field following that sprint, and it is Mexico now who are animating the action with Jordi Ramirez of Mexico. He's been joined at the front of the race by Max Rocheby of Great Britain. Just to update you on the point standings now, as you can see on our on-screen graphic, 12 minutes of racing completed in this points race final, and So Mang-ju, the first rider to gain a lap, is on 21 points. So too Lukas Plap of Australia. 1 point behind is Filip Propopskin of Poland on 20, and then a big gap to the rider in 4th place, Oleg Kanaka, who has 8 points. Just 3 riders with the lap gain. Now a 4-rider leading group, again beginning to press home the advantage. This time the riders who have taken the opportunity to go off the front with 67 laps to go are the rider from Mexico, also up there as well. We have Denmark represented headed with Robin Skiveld. Max Rujby of Great Britain is also in that leading group, along with the rider from the Russian Federation, Vyacheslav Polozov. So those are your 4 leading riders. My apologies to the Korean rider who is in that group there. The Korean who tops the points table, So-Meng Zhu, is the other member of that 4-man leading group. Plamp of Australia leads the chase once again with Propopskin of Poland. And now the Korean has gone away once again. He senses that it's 4 laps to go to the sprint. Also senses perhaps that the main field might well be being softened up here for another potential lap gain. So Zhu is the leader. His arms just draped over the handlebars in time trial style there. He's being chased down though by the front half of the peloton. First to make the junction here. And he's back amongst our leading group, which now numbers 6 riders. Max has been latched onto the back of that one, then the gap to the front of the main field, currently headed by the rider there in the colours of Argentina, Juan Salazar. 1 lap away from the next sprint. Plamp of Australia is on the front of the bench, just behind him Kojima of Japan, and then Su of Korea. The Mexican next in line, then Max Rujby attempts to get onto the back of that one along with the Danish rider. And here on the sprint, that was very closely contested between Japan and Australia. So Kojima taking on Plamp for the 5 points that time. We shall wait for confirmation of that result, and 59 laps to go. That 6-rider leading group beginning to build this advantage here. It's half a lap ahead of the main field, which is headed by Germany, followed by Spain. 58 laps to go for the leading group. Here they come into the finishing straight. It was Kojima of Japan who got the 5 points, Plamp of Australia for 3, Ramirez of Mexico for 2, and Zhu of Korea with 1 point. So Plamp now goes to the top of the leaderboard, a 2-point advantage for Lucas Plamp of Australia, 24 points to his credit. So-Meng Zhu of Korea with 22, and Filipa Propopskin of Poland has 20 points. Kojima of Japan still without the lap gain. He has 11 points, currently in 4th place. So the main field enter the back straight, at the head of the race. The 6 riders here come into the completion of another lap, and they are continuing to make good ground. But rear of the main field, once again, the rider from Thailand, who set off at a brisk pace at the start of the race, but has lost 2 laps so far. Now these 6 riders looking good here for the potential lap gain. And sensing the danger and going off the front of the main field, trying to hold off the charge from behind, is Arthur Saint-Rame of Belgium. But look at this, Lucas Plamp followed by Max Rujby, and the other riders in that leading group will gain the lap. They make the back of the main field, so the head of the race now becomes a Belgian rider in the back straight. Zhu of Korea, the last rider to latch on and gain the lap there. So more points taken, 20 points for each of those 6 riders, and that will change the whole complexion at the top of the leaderboard, still with 52 laps to go in this point race. We're 2 away from the next sprint. So it looks like the Belgian rider is going to be caught back by the main field, which is split into at least 2 distinct groups here. So the bell sounds to indicate the next sprint lap next time around. And 2 riders just clipping off the front of the main field in pursuit of the 5 points on offer here. Here we come towards the line with 5 points being taken by the first riders across the line there. That was the rider from Belarus, Mazur, who took the 5 points. It was Salazar of Argentina for 2nd, Kanaka of Ukraine 3rd place, and Brulé of France in 4th. Those riders have gained the points a little earlier. Kojima of Japan, Rujby of Great Britain, Zhu of Korea, Plamp of Australia, Ramirez of Mexico, and Skivild of Denmark. So at the top of the leaderboard now, Lucas Plamp and So-Meng Zhu both have gained 2 laps in this race so far. Plamp has 44 points, Zhu has 42. Next in line, and his first lap gain to his credit was Naoko Kojima of Japan. He's got 31 points now. Max Rujby of Great Britain also gained a lap in that most recent riders who gained the lap. 23 points for Max Rujby. Ramirez of Mexico also on 23 points, joint 4th place for Rujby, and joint 6th place for Propopskin of Poland and Skivild of Denmark. We have got 46 laps to go. 2 more riders again go on the attack. At the head of the race, Max Rujby of Great Britain leads the chasing peloton. Well, no break in the action at all here in this very, very hotly contested junior men's point race. We knew it was going to be a great final, having seen how competitive both the qualification heats were earlier this morning. That's 2 lap gains, both for Lucas Plamp and So-Meng Zhu. give them a 11-point advantage for Zhu and a 13-point advantage for Plap ahead of the nearest challenger, Kojima of Japan. 4 away from the next sprint. 2 riders in the front are making good progress, so I don't think they're particularly likely to gain the lap here. Those two who have gone off the front is Calvin Dieck of Germany. He was the winner of the second qualification heat this morning. They're going to rapidly be joined, though, by a rider who's bridged across from the main field. Also there are the Ukrainian, and the most recent riders who joined that little move on the front is Kropotkin of Poland. The rider from the Ukraine in that group is Kanaka. So those are your 3 riders at the head of the race, and we've got 1 lap to go to the next sprint. As Dieck of Germany leads the Pole and the Ukrainian. Plap of Australia once again trying to get up there into the point scoring situation as well. The Italian just behind him. Those are the riders in 4th and 5th place at the moment. But across the line, it looks like maximum points for Kanaka of the Ukraine this time. 5 for him. Dieck of Germany gets 3. Kropotkin of Poland for 2. And Plap of Australia 1 point for the race leader. So he gains another point at the top of the leaderboard. Zhu of Korea failing to score that time around. So there is now a 3-point buffer between Plap of Australia and Zhu of Korea, with Kojima of Japan still lying in 3rd place with 31 points. 38 laps to go. A 4-rider leading group. Plap of Australia along with the previous 3. They have about a quarter of a lap advantage as the main field is currently headed by France. I don't think they're fully committed to this move. They actually swung high as they came into the finishing straight, almost if they were waiting the main field to bring them back. And Plap of Australia is still on the front. He's, of course, the rider with maximum points at the moment. 2 lap gains already to his credit. But this group not particularly cohesive in their effort to gain a further lap. And so 2 more riders are out to bridge across to that little move. And those 2 who are trying to make the junction now are almost there as well. So the leading group swells in number once again. They make contact. 5 to go to the next sprint. The 2 riders who are trying to bridge across there, the rider from Denmark is Skivild, and also trying to make across to that leading group is the Colombian Arrive. So let's see if they make it. Plap just having a little look at the height of the track there. Now drops back into 3rd slot in that leading group of 4. The other 2 are not quite on yet. Again, more riders split off the front of the main field. Russian Federation leading the charge there. And the leading riders have got 3 laps to go to the next sprint. Those 4 leaders, 2 chasers. Then the next group on the track with Italy and Great Britain, Russian Federation in that group, along with France as well. And it is the rider from Germany, Calvin Dieck, who is still leading the lead group. So again, it's not been quite able for those 2 chasers to get on, so the 4 leaders are still clear. Then the 2 chasers, another lone chaser then appears from the front of what is now a fragmenting main field. 1 lap to go to the next sprint, and it'll then be 30 laps to go before we reach the conclusion of this intriguing battle for the junior men's point race title. So these 4 riders here will share out the points on the line this time. Maximum points on the line for the Ukraine, followed by Poland, Germany and Australia. So those are the riders who'll pick up the points that time through the line. Belgium giving chase as well. And our 4 leaders aren't far away from another lap gain. The first rider who's going to make that junction will be Kropotkin of Poland. He's across, and the others are too, so more riders gaining a lap there. 28 to go. Well, Plap has picked up another lap during the course of that one, and that will certainly further extend his advantage at the head of the race. It was Kanaka of the Ukraine, Plap of Australia, Kropotkin of Poland and Dieck of Germany who gained the lap. So the rider who lost out there was Zhu of Korea. So he wasn't in that move that gained the lap. So the only rider who has now got 3 lap gains is Lucas Plap of Australia. So that puts him in a very good position indeed with just 26 laps to go. Plap has 66 points at the top of the leaderboard. Kropotkin of Poland in 2nd place with 45. 3 ahead of Zhu of Korea in 3rd on 42. Kanaka of Japan. Kanaka of Ukraine, I should say, is 40 points. Kojima of Japan is on 31 points. 25 laps to go in this junior men's point race final. And just for a moment, a little bit of relaxation in the main field. 4 away from the next sprint. And as the main field have eased up, these two riders here are looking also to gain the lap as well, to again mix up the situation at the top of the leaderboard. That was Salazar of Argentina, who was first to make that gain that time. Once again, the attacks come at the front of the race, and another lone attacker here, accelerating away once more, thinking of the next sprint. Well, he's a couple of laps down now. He lost at least 2 laps earlier in the race, but it's the rider from Thailand who's going to be overhauled though as they come to the line. It's going to be Propskin of Poland who will take maximum points. Second place for Thai rider, third for the race leader Plamp, and it looked like fourth place there for France in that sprint for Louis Brul. And that is confirmed. So Propskin of Poland for 5. The riders who gained the lap just going into that sprint with the Argentinian Salazar, the Russian Polozov, and the Danish rider Skivil gaining a further lap as well. So the rejigged leaderboard now. Just have a look at the point situation. Lucas Plamp 68 points with 19 laps of the race remaining. Filip Propskin of Poland with 50, and Somang Ju of Korea third on 42. No sooner did the rider from Thailand go off the front, trying to gain points in that most recent sprint, but once again he's now off the back of the race, and it is France and Australia who go on the attack. Looks like cramp there for the rider just clutching his leg. That's Somang Ju of Korea. That's not good for the rider who is in third place. Still 15 laps to go. In a pretty brisk pace all through this race, the constant attacking moves off the front. And still they continue. Once again, it's Plamp and Brul who have gone off the front here. Not content yet. Oh, and that crash there brings the Mexican down. And he's off the track, fortunately. No one else involved in that one, I don't think. And the head of the race is still Australia and France, about to be joined by the rider from Ukraine as well. So this will bring about a regrouping at the front of the main field. So Brul of France, followed across the line there by Kanaka of the Ukraine and Plamp of Australia. Czech Republic now lead the main field, and it's a small gap for them to close, stretching it out with Germany, but also trying to latch on that along with Denmark as well. So they reform a leading group that is like a piece of elastic that's being stretched and then let go again at the moment. It's proving more difficult to get away now in the closing stage of this race. It's 11 laps to go, 1 away from the penultimate sprint. Remember, there are double points on the final lap, but a commanding advantage. 18 points to lead for Lucas Plamp of Australia going into this final sprint, this penultimate sprint, and Plamp of Australia is in third place here, coming towards the line, and it will be Germany just, I think, from the Czech Republic. Plamp looking for third place there and gets it. And in fact, the other way around, it was Czech Republic for Jan Vunners with 5, Dijk of Germany with 3, Plamp with 2, and Kanaka of Ukraine with 1 point. Plamp and the German Dijk are still the 2 riders at the head of the race. The Mexican rejoins the race with 9 laps to go. And it's very difficult now to gain any laps in these closing stages, and the deficit for the rest of the field, the rider in second place, Filip Propskin of Poland, is currently 20 points behind Lucas Plamp. That is a lap gain difference. There are 10 points in the final sprint for the winner of that one. That's not enough for Propskin to close the gap to Plamp. The only way he can challenge the lead of the Australian is to gain a lap in the final 7. That's highly unlikely. Belgium come to the front. Plamp is defending his position well. He's in second place on the track at the moment. France come to the front of the chasing peloton. So too there is Max Rushby of Great Britain, but this is looking as though Lucas Plamp of Australia has got this race pretty much in the bag. He has made 3 lap gains during the course of the action. And the rider who is really suffering in these closing stages is Zhu of Korea. Can he hang on to that third place? He's just 1 point ahead of Kanaka of the Ukraine, and a further point ahead of Skivil of Denmark in the battle for the bronze medal. But for the silver medal fight, it looks as though Plamp of Australia and Propskin of Poland are pretty much guaranteed their medals. 5 laps to go, 4 for the leaders when they come around this time. The Koreans rider off the back. At the front, another attacking move from the Russian Federation, now looking for points in that final sprint. The battle for the bronze medal is the one they're fighting for. Also the silver is under threat here, due of the the Korean team and also Kanaka of Ukraine and Skivil of Denmark theoretically could profit from that double points score at the end of the race to try and overhaul Filip Kropotkin of Poland for that silver medal. If you're equal on points, it's the best place rider in the final sprint that counts. So that's why they're all now anxiously trying to get towards the front of the race. Plapp of Australia can almost afford to relax now. He is further down the line, doesn't need to contest his final sprint. He's got that gold medal pretty much guaranteed. 1 lap to go. Here comes the attacking move around the outside. It's going to be the Polish rider Kropotkin, who is definitely trying to defend his silver medal. He's currently lying in second place, 50 points on the board. He's looking for the double points on the line this time, and he's looking well set to get it here. So coming towards the line to guarantee the silver will be Kropotkin of Poland. He will go up to 60 points and take the silver medal. Lucas Plapp will celebrate towards the back of the bunch. He did his work in the middle part of the race, getting 3 laps during the course of that 27 minutes of scratch race action to take the gold medal for Australia. And in the final run to the line, it is Skifield of Denmark who overhauls Zhu of Korea by 2 points to take the bronze medal. Wow, well, that was all action right from the get-go in that junior men's points race final. And just to confirm once again the medalists for you, the man on your screen there holding up the number 1, and rightly so, because he is your gold medal winner. That is Lucas Plapp of Australia, taking the title of junior men's points race champion at these World Championships 2018. He's already got the Australian flag in hand. Second place for Filip Kropotkin of Poland. That great run to the line in the final sprint guaranteed him the 10 points and secured that silver medal in second place. And a good finish there from Robin Skivild of Denmark, just overhauling Sumang Zhu of Korea, who is definitely suffering with cramp in those closing few laps, and Skivild securing the bronze medal in third place, a 2-point buffer ahead of Zhu, who finishes in fourth. Well, we will see the victory ceremony for that points race a little bit later. But the Australian contingent here inside the World Cycling Centre, celebrating along with Lucas Plapp. That was a great exhibition of points race riding. Not such a great exhibition of holding onto the flag there by the Danish rider, who's dropped it in the middle of the track in the back straight. Hopefully someone will retrieve that before the next race comes onto the track. But just there is the final confirmation of the points scored for you. Lucas Plapp on 70 with the gold medal, Kropotkin of Poland in second, and the silver medal with 60 points, and Skivild of Denmark finishes third and takes the bronze medal. Very obligingly, actually, the rider who dropped the flag has gone back round, picked it up and handed it back to the person in the crowd who gave it to him in the first place. So very well done to Robin Skivild of Denmark. So once we get our breath back from that one, I can tell you the next competitive action on the track will be the resumption of competition in the women's sprint. Competition began here yesterday. We're at the semi-final stages now. It'll be a few minutes before the track is available for the sprinters, because the Australian celebrations are continuing here, as Lucas Plapp has another flag now in his grasp, and high five there with the rider who finished in second place. So while they continue their celebrations, let us bring you our quick guide to the sprint competition.
The team sprint pits 2 teams against each other and the clock. Teams of 3 for men and 2 for women, over 3 laps for men and 2 laps for women. The task of the starting rider is to get out of the gate cleanly and bring the team up to speed as quickly as possible. After 1 lap, the first rider peels off to allow the next rider to make the pace. The leading rider must not...
So that wasn't quite the right clip, but we will give you the right one now, and just remind you exactly what the sprint is all about. The one you just saw was all about pursuiting, so we'll tell you about sprinting as well before the women come to the track for the semi-finals. And here we go. This is the right one. This is our quick guide to sprinting.
The sprint is a classic short-distance event in which 2 riders cover 3 laps of the track. Qualification consists of flying start 200 metres time trial. The time trial is followed by knockout heats, fastest, versus slowest. From the quarter-finals, the riders race best of 3 heats. Sprint racing is all about the tactics. Riders will sometimes come to a standstill in an effort to make their opponent take the lead, which is the least advantageous position before the final sprint to the finish.
So that really was all about sprinting. And as I mentioned earlier, this was a competition that began here yesterday with the qualification round of the women's sprint. Continued as far as the conclusion of the quarter-finals here last night, which was bringing us our 4 riders into today's semi-finals. And ultimately, of course, to the finals, which will round off competition here on day number 3 of these Junior World Championships. And the riders involved in this semi-final, it's best of 3, by the way, so it's match sprinting all the way through to the final. And you can see the heats on your screen for you. Heat number 1 will be 2 riders from Germany, and they were actually teammates who took the gold medal in the women's team sprint on day 1 of these Junior World Championships on Wednesday. Now they're in battle with each other for a place in the women's sprint finals. And they are Sophie Friedrich, and her teammate and fellow countrywoman is Alessa Catriona Propster. So the riders have drawn for their starting positions and are being brought to the line. I can tell you as a guide to which one is which, that Propster, the rider on the outside here, has the white bands on her helmet. Her teammate has got a predominantly black helmet. So bikes identical, wheels identical. Shoes are also a little different as well, so if you're straining to look at your TV screen and work out who is who, then that is the way around they are. Propster on the outside and Friedrich on the inside. So she is obliged to lead away for the first half lap, unless her teammate and opponent on this occasion elects to go past. First half lap needs to be completed at walking pace or better. No problem with that. They're quite briskly away from the line, already into the back straight. And the reason that that lead position is one that's sometimes challenged for is if you're at the front, you need to keep looking behind you to see what your opponent is about to do. The rider in second place has the benefit of just being able to sit there and maybe launch a surprise move as well. So currently, there's Sophie Friedrich just looking over her right shoulder and seeing there Alessa Propster. Propster's taken the higher position on the track here, so Friedrich is first inside that red sprinter's lines. 1 lap to go on the bell this time. Early advantage for Friedrich as the sprint opens up here. Big gap to close for Propster. So Friedrich is moving well down the back straight. Propster now takes closer order. This will be close as they come into the finishing straight, but I think Friedrich has done enough work in the run to that one to secure the first victory in that first match in semi-final number 1. So 1 to the good is Sophie Friedrich. Her teammate, Alessa Catriona Propster, will need to reconsider her tactics in the second one, because she gave her fellow German rider too much ground there and could not close the gap. Confirmed on the screen, 1 to the good, shown by the green dot for Sophie Friedrich. And we move on to the second heat, and all the riders involved in this Junior Women's Sprint semi-finals are already medalists here, because the next 2 were part of both the silver and the bronze medal winning teams in the women's team sprint. Taking the silver medal as part of the People's Republic of China team was Zhifang Hu, and taking the bronze medal as part of the team from Poland was Nikola Sibiak, and those are the 2 riders who will come to the track for the second heat of this women's sprint. Zhifang Hu defeating Alana Field of Australia in the quarter-final stages, and Nikola Sibiak had a rather prolonged battle with Ksenia Andreeva in the quarter-finals yesterday. Actually went to 4 matches because they did a rerun of the 3rd match. For reasons that still elude me, I did look for the Commissar's decisions overnight on the website from our event sponsors here, Tissot, which got all the stats and the start sheets if you want to take a look at that as well, alongside watching our coverage here on the UCI YouTube and Facebook channels. But I couldn't find any information about that. But anyway, the end result was that Nicola Sibiak secured her place in the semi-finals, and she is being brought to the track here now. It's a little confusion as to who's drawn the inside position. I'll start to just making absolutely sure which way round they should be. And he's happy that it is Zhu Fanghu of China on the inside who will lead away, and Sibiak on the outside from Poland. So again, best of three. And this time, Sibiak, the rider who started on the outside, elects to take up the lead. Accelerating down the back straight. So now hanging around at the start of this one. Sibiak out of the saddle once more, trying to drop her opponent, but Hugh is hanging onto the wheel here. Now she's out of the saddle, just to match the pedal revs of her opponent, and now she's got a long way to come around the outside. 1 lap to go. Sibiak on the inside, Hugh on the outside for China. Almost came together there around the corner 1, and now as they go down the back straight, once again the rider from China redoubles her efforts, and they are literally shoulder to shoulder coming to the finishing straight. It's going to be really close on the line, but I think the rider from China just took that one. Almost looked as though Sibiak conceded that just as they came towards the line, just from the body language from the rider from Poland there. Confirmed that it was Zhu Fanghu of China across the line first, ahead of Nicola Sibiak. So Hugh goes 1 match to the good in semi-final heat number 2. That battle will continue later on. And now we're going to take you to our next quick guide, and this time we're pretty sure it's going to be the guide to the Omnium. We're in the midst of the women's Omnium competition this afternoon.
The Omnium is made up of 4 events and is contested over 1 day. The 4 events that make up the Omnium are Scratch Race, Tempo Race, the Elimination Race, a Points Race. The final standings are established by adding up the finishing places in each of the first 3 events and converting them using a point scale into points. Going into the final event, the Points Race, each point won during this event is then added to the previous total of points. The rider with the most points at the end of the points race is the winner.
So those are the 4 events that make up the women's Omnium. The Elimination Race, the 3rd of the 4 events, will be next on the track. We have a little opportunity to look back at some of the action from earlier on in the day. The riders, of course, rode a qualification round at the start of the day to seed them into the competition. The most recently competed race before this Omnium race was the Tempo Race. It's one where the riders take a point each time across the line. See them rolling away here at the start with the British representative in this women's Omnium on the front of the group as they rolled away there. And that was Ellie Russell. 12 laps to go, and Czech Republic beginning to make some ground here. The rider from Italy also well placed, that's Vittoria Ghazini. A little attacking move on the front. And see the rider picking up the point there at the head of the race from the People's Republic of China. A little gap to Ghazini of Italy as we came towards the final 6 laps of this tempo race. If you gain a lap, looks like a point race, you get 20 points. But I didn't see any riders picking up a significant lap gain other than those at the top of the table. Ghazini of Italy, who finished 3rd in the scratch race earlier in the day, just getting the better of Skulska on 2nd place. The points they picked up, scrolling up the screen. So that left the standings with Vittoria Ghazini of Italy at the top of the table so far with 76 points across the 2 disciplines completed so far, the scratch race and the tempo race. Second place for Great Britain's Ellie Russell. She has 68 points, 4 ahead of Jari Bossiut of Belgium, who lies third with 64, joint third in fact, along with Petra Sevcikova of the Czech Republic. So, in fact, 3 riders on 64 points, but also with that score is Catalina Soto-Campos of Chile, who also has 64 points to her credit. There is that leaderboard, quickly displayed on the screen for you after the tempo race. 76 points for Ghazini. Russell second, Bossiut, and then Sevcikova, followed by Soto-Campos and Alexandra Martin-Wallace of Australia with 62. Marta Jasulska in 7th place with 60 points. And Jasulska, silver medalist in the scratch race for the women here. So the starting lineup for this elimination race, there we go. Riders will line up, half of them on the inside of the track and half of them on the fence. And the elimination race, always a favourite race for the crowd inside any velodrome. It's the one where riders are eliminated off the back every couple of laps. Riders are all fitted with, well, not the riders, but the bikes are all fitted with a little flashing light on the handlebars. You might see those. It's the little orange box which has a flashing light. When it flashes, that is your signal that you have been eliminated. The rider's name also called by our stadium announcer here, and numbers displayed on the lap counters and on the big screen, so shouldn't leave you in too much doubt as to who is the rider eliminated, but sometimes it's a little difficult to get them to leave the track, and we will eliminate riders right down to the final 2 who will sprint for the final finishing positions. And of course, when you take a win in any element of the Omnium competition, you get 40 points. And the final element of the points of the Omnium is the points race, and you take into that points race the total of your points throughout the other 3 elements. So if you have scored, for example, 80 points in total across the first 3, then you will start the points race with 80 points on the board. So the riders are lining up here in the current standing order for the Omnium. Vittoria Ghazini at the top of the track here, the leader for Italy. Ellie Russell for Great Britain. She currently lies in 2nd place. She's at the bottom of the track. And then next we have Jari Bossiut of Belgium, just behind Ghazini of Italy, here at the outside of the track. And at the bottom of the track, the rider in 4th place, Petra Sevcikova of the Czech Republic. And so on down the line to the rider who's placed last currently from the United States, and that is Melanie Coynes. So we're almost ready to go. Just making sure everyone's in the right place. All the flashing lights that were being tested are now switched off, and so the next time the rider sees a flashing light, they will be the first to be eliminated. There is that little box that they have on the bike that indicates to them that they have been eliminated. And if the officials can't decide who has been eliminated within half a lap of the line, then there will be no elimination. And the system of flags used to indicate that. Also, if there's a misfortune of a crash, the race can be neutralised for a number of laps before the action resumes, to make sure everyone gets back into place. So need to focus your attention pretty much at the back of the race for this one. The gun will fire this time around. Each lap before the elimination will be indicated. So the first lap, no one will be eliminated this time. Still one big bunch at the moment. Australia on the front, but the back is where the focus is, of course. Here they come into the finishing straight once more. Ellie Russell of Great Britain, they're in 3rd place. Now the bell indicating that next time round the first rider will be eliminated. So let's see who that is going to be. As I said, you need to focus your attention not so much at the front, but at the back this time. And the rider who looks in grave danger of losing out here, well, that's actually going to be very close, that one. Ukraine were certainly under threat there. Let's see who, and it is Ukraine who is eliminated first. So the first rider to go is the rider from Ukraine, eliminated in the first time around. So she will exit from the track, her red light flashing on her handlebars, leaving her in no doubt at all that she is now history as far as this race is concerned. That was Olna Kulnic. Next bell ring means next time around the second elimination will take place. And Spain in the danger seat currently. Let's see if they can hang on. This is Naya Amandrian. I think she did, and I think the rider who may have gone that time was the Austrian. Yes, indeed it was. It was Janine Kokas of Austria next to go. Poland, Belgium and Australia at the front. Still living dangerously though towards the back of the race. And riders trying to move up. Don't want to get yourself boxed in towards the back, because you may find yourself in that danger zone facing elimination. The rider who's been really dodging the bullet each time so far is Oksa Pukanati of Lithuania, the rider in the yellow, green and red here, and looks like this time might just be her moment of doom. Yeah, she will go that time. Flashing lights on her handlebars will confirm it, I think. There we go. So she has been eliminated. Oksa Pukanita of Lithuania next to go in the women's Omnium elimination race. Russian Federation at the head of the action for Daria Malkova. And next bell ring will come this time, ready for the elimination next time round. And at the back that time was Vivian Zhu of Hong Kong, China. She's managed to move up though. So here we come. All eyes focused on the back of the bunch, and on the line it is the United States of America, I think. Just waiting for confirmation here that is the rider to go. It is indeed number 67, the rider who is propping up the standings in the women's Omnium at the moment, and Melanie Quinones of United States of America is eliminated. The United States flag held aloft just to confirm that for her, along with the flashy light, her name on the scoreboard, and various other indications as well around the track that she is the rider to go. She has acknowledged that and left the track. So here we come once again. Next elimination will be in a lapse time from now. Once again, the rider from Hong Kong, China, Vivian Chu, is towards the back. She's making a little bit of a habit of this. She moves around the outside just at the last moment, leaving another rider in the danger seat, but she's not quite got there yet. There's going to be very close on the line, this one. I think she's just lost out that time. We'll wait for confirmation. We're very close between her at the top of the track and the rider towards the bottom as well, but it is the rider from Japan, in fact. So once again, her technique has proven effective, because it's Japan who've been eliminated. Yuno Ishigami is the rider to go, number 39 at the bottom of the track in the red and white colours. And she was sold a dummy there by the rider from Hong Kong, China, and once again survives that elimination. Field thinning out now. Russian Federation, Poland, Australia all packed towards the front of the race. Great Britain's Ellie Russell in about 6th place as well. She lies second, of course, in the standings, and the leader, Ghazini, is just alongside Russell in about 7th place in the pack. But again, the back of the race is what we're looking at here, and this time I think the rider from Hong Kong, China will be eliminated. Indeed she is. Number 32 is next to go. So she lived dangerously and she's died by the sword, because Vivian Chu of Hong Kong, China is next to be eliminated. Now the Australian towards the back. It's still a lap to go before they hear the bell. So she's got time to move up, and indeed she does. Moves up into 2nd place, in fact, at the front of the race, and leaving more riders in danger. Russian Federation towards the back here, along with Spain. So with the next elimination this time around, bunches lined out. It's a Spanish rider who has been dropped here, and she won't get it back from that one. Naya Amandrian looks like the rider who is about to be eliminated. Not too difficult to call that one for our judges. Some considerable distance behind. So Spain next to go. One more rider eliminated from the field here as we continue this women's elimination race. Czech Republic rider Petra Soshikova. She's lying 4th overall in the Omnium standings, so she wants to try and move herself. Oh, and she's been felled there. 2 riders come down, and it looks like the Italian as well, the leader of the Omnium, Vittoria Ghazini, who just flicked up there and brought down the rider from the Czech Republic, Petra Soshikova. The race is neutralised. Currently, I told you this might happen if there was a crash. The yellow flag indicating no further eliminations at the moment, whilst those 2 riders get back into the action. And already the Italian back on board her bike, Vittoria Ghazini. You can see the replay of that one there as they both slide down the track. Firstly, I think they're both okay, both back on their feet, just getting the bike sorted. Another look at this one. Ghazini, number 37 there. She all over the place, wobbling, and she lost it first. The Czech rider had got nowhere to go and crashed into the back of Ghazini. And both of those two are just getting themselves back into the action. So the neutralisation will continue for up to 5 laps whilst those riders involved in the crash return to the race. Our Commissaire President, Luc Herpelink from Belgium, holding out the yellow flag to indicate that the race is currently neutralised. And both riders back on the track. Well, a real scare there for Ghazini, the leader of the women's Omnium. And she was responsible for the crash that also brought down Sovšíková of the Czech Republic. So once they're all back together, the flag will be brought in and the race will resume. Looks like Ghazini struggling a little bit there in the middle just to get herself back into the momentum. Flag is still out, so the race is still neutralised currently. So the gun will fire to get us back into the race. And thereafter, of course, the eliminations will continue. So the race will resume this time round, following that elimination. There we go, we're off again. I told you this would be exciting. And immediately, Ghazini of Italy moves towards the front, doesn't want to get involved in that sort of situation again. Well, she's still not quite sure what happened. She seems to lose the front wheel on her machine and wobbled, slid down the track and left Sovšíková with nowhere to go. So the bell is about to be rung this time for the next elimination a lap later. One of our Swiss cycling commissaires there with the bell in hand. And so we're heading for the next elimination this time. With that little pause in the action, let's see who is going to go out the back this time. Well, looking both ways, she's just realised that the rider from Poland is Marta Jasulska, was at the back. Looked to her left, looked to her right, no one behind her. Oh no, she thought, that's me out. And indeed it is, red flashing lights, Polish flag held aloft by our starter. And she too is out of the women's elimination race in the Omnium. So the field thins yet again. 9 riders remain. We'll go through the eliminations right until we have 2 riders left to contest the final sprint. Once again, Russian Federation on the front at the moment. And Australia now in the danger zone towards the back. So Alexandra Martin-Wallace, a little fight here with the rider from the Czech Republic, has already been on the ground once and looked like she might be out now. So that is Petra Sovšíková of the Czech Republic, rider who crashed into the back of the tumbling Victoria Ghazini, is next to be eliminated. So she's out of the action. And then there were 8. Well, Alexandra Martin-Wallace of Australia has elected to come to the front now. She found herself in the danger zone last time. Doesn't want any of that. Ghazini of Italy, following her encounter with the track, as evidenced by the marks on her skin suit. She rode past us here at the commentary position, but she's on the front, determined not to find herself in the danger zone. And the rider who was in the danger zone, 8th place in the Omnium for Daria Malkova, but she is now eliminated for Russian Federation. Ellie Russell of Great Britain now in the rearmost position, but it's not an elimination this time. Now she moves up around the outside. Ellie Russell, wise head on those shoulders. And she knows exactly where you need to be in the elimination. That's not at the back, so she's now up in 2nd place. Once again is Australia, who find themselves in the danger zone, along with Munoz of Argentina. The Argentinian moves up. Ghazini of Italy is towards the back as well, and Martin-Wallace of Australia looks as though, well, that may well have been between Munoz of Argentina and Martin-Wallace of Australia. I think the Argentinian might just be the one who gets the flashy light. Yes, she is. So it is elimination for Valentina Munoz of Argentina. Another very close call, though, for Alexandra Martin-Wallace of Australia. Don't want too many more of those. Belgium also hovering towards the rear of the race as well. That's Shari Bossuit, who lies in 3rd place in the Omnium competition at the moment. 4th in the tempo race and 6th in the scratch race. And Alexandra Martin-Wallace, who was 3rd in the scratch, moving around the outside here. It's between her and the Belgium, I think. Ghazini also in danger, but it may well just be Ellie Russell who lost out in the middle. Let's wait for that one. Well, Ellie Russell was right in the middle of the bunch there, and riders went through either side of her, and that has taken Ellie Russell, who lies 2nd in the Omnium, out of this elimination race. Well, I said she'd moved up into 2nd spot, but she found herself with nowhere to go that time. Looks down almost in disbelief with that flashing red light on her handlebars, but Ellie Russell has gone. And we have got 5 riders left on the track, so still 3 more to be eliminated. This is where it gets really, really tough now. And once again, Ghazini of Italy, the Omnium leader, winner of the tempo race, 3rd in the scratch race, finds herself towards the back along with Alexandra Martin-Wallace on the line. Oh, I think the Australian may well have gone that time. She was at the bottom of the track and a clear length behind nearest rival. So elimination now for Alexandra Martin-Wallace of Australia. So field definitely getting down to the final 4 riders remaining now as the Australian leaves the track in the back straight. Another rolling lap before the next elimination, and deciding to take order at the front before the bell rings. The Chilean rider, that is Catalina Soto Campos. Ghazini of Italy behind her, followed by Bossuet of Belgium. And the rider who is in a distant 4th place here, I think, will be the next to be eliminated on the line this time. The rider who goes is indeed Anastasia Kolasheva from Belarus. Anastasia Kolasheva is eliminated. So that leaves the 3 left on the track. Belgium, Chile and Italy. 1 more elimination, and then the final 2 will sprint it out. Ghazini at the back here, with Bossuet just ahead of her, and Catalina Soto Campos of Chile. Ghazini drops down inside the track. Soto Campos takes the wheel. And there's the bell for the elimination next time round. Here we go. Who's going to get the best of this one? Ooh. Well, that was close. But it was Belgium who goes. Well, Shari Bossuet was the rider eliminated, so that will leave Italy and Chile to battle out the final sprint. So the final bell will indicate 1 lap to go, and dropping down inside the sprinters line there, Soto Campos of Chile. Ghazini, who's had her moments in this elimination race, crashing earlier, and she's going to come around the Chilean as they go down the back straight. Ghazini looking to add her win to the tempo race with the 1 in the elimination, but on the line, oh, that was ever so close. Ghazini celebrates. We will wait for official confirmation, because it was very, very close on the line. Well, when she was sliding down the track in the earlier part of the race, I'm sure Vittoria Ghazini was thinking maybe her Omnium chances were taking a turn for the worse, but she fought her way back, returned to the action, and now she has taken the victory. Has she? No, our computer's still not clear as to which one of the 2. 14 minutes and 56 seconds of action. Well, Ghazini has been credited with 2nd place. That must mean that Soto Campos is the winner. Indeed, she is. And no, it's been swapped around. So there you go. It is Vittoria Ghazini who gets it by the smallest of margins ahead of Catalina Soto Campos. So there you go. That was the crash that felled Ghazini and the rider from the Czech Republic, Petra Sevcikova, who had nowhere to go. But they both got back up. They both got back into the action, and it was Ghazini who took on Soto Campos of Chile in the final sprint for the line. You can see just how close it is here in our action replay. This is the run to the line. And there you go, celebrating. Ghazini gets it ahead of Catalina Soto Campos of Chile. And Shari Basiut, the final rider to be eliminated of Belgium. She finishes in 3rd place. And Anastasia Koloseva of Belarus in 4th place, ahead of Alexandra Martin-Wallace. So that means that Vittoria Ghazini picks up another 40 points for the victory. Ali Russell, the big loser there in the Omnium standing. She was eliminated and finished in 6th place. And you can see confirmation of that result there of the women's Omnium elimination race. And we will see a rejigged Omnium standing for you a little bit later. And of course, one more element to go, and that is the point trace. And the riders will take the points score at the end of the first 3 disciplines, the scratch race, the tempo race and the elimination race, into that final point trace. So Victoria Ghazini will begin the point trace with 116 points. 14 points behind her will be Catalina Soto Campos of Chile. Shari Basiut of Belgium will start with 100 points. Ellie Russell down to 4th place, 98 for her. Those are the standings that will go into the final point trace a little bit later. And you can see the riders languishing at the bottom of the classification, 28 points for the American rider. So that will be the final race of the women's Omnium. It'll be a 70-lap point race of 7 sprints later on in the competition programme here this evening. But our next order of business will be our first victory ceremony. Will be for the men's point race final, which opened our coverage here this afternoon of day 3 of the 2018 UCI Junior Track Cycling World Championships here in Aigle in Switzerland. I think our stadium team here have got a little bit ahead of themselves, because according to my programme we should be going into race 2 of the women's sprint semi-finals. And indeed we are, because the rider's coming out onto the track. So the backdrop for the victory ceremony is rapidly lowered again. That'll be coming up following this second race in the women's sprint semi-finals. And we're of course at the stage here of match 2 in these semi-finals. First one will be heat 1 between Leah Sophie Friedrich and Alessa Katriona Propster of Germany. Teammates, of course, joint gold medal winners in the women's team sprint on day 1 of these championships on Wednesday. But now in battle, so only one of them will secure a place in the gold and silver medal final in the women's sprint. The loser overall in each of these 2 semi-finals, of course, will go into the battle for the bronze medal. And it's Leah Sophie Friedrich who took the early advantage, winning match number 1, outpacing her opponent. And it will be a reverse of the starting order this time, so it is Propster who leads away this time, takes up the lead position. Now Propster needs to be watchful, because she gave Friedrich too big a gap last time and couldn't close her down in the final half lap. These two, I'm sure, must know each other pretty well, riding together in the team sprint, presumably training together as well in the German junior squad. So the sprint tactics here will be interesting to see. Propster ever watchful, craning her neck, looking over her right shoulder. And Leah Sophie Friedrich occupying a marginally higher position on the track, just above the blue line there. But it's the red line, the red sprinters line, that will come into play when the sprint unfolds in a few moments' time. Friedrich is the first out of the saddle and starts to increase the pace. She is trying to sell a dummy to her opponent here by going up the track and then dropping down. She's first to come over the top and inside the sprinters line. So once again, the pace of Leah Sophie Friedrich look as though it's going to be the undoing of Alessa Katriona Propster. And as they come to line, Friedrich in 2 straight rides will go into the gold and silver medal final in the junior women's sprint without the necessity of a third and deciding encounter. Once again, Friedrich proving to have the greater pace, and on that occasion also the better tactical play as well. She took that second place as they rolled away from the line, and she just kept a watching brief, closed down Propster, and accelerated away, came over the top of her opponent, dropped neatly into that sprinter's line and accelerated away. So great sprinting there, and in 2 straight rides it is Leah Sophie Friedrich who is through into the gold and silver medal final for the junior women's sprint. Next up will be the action in heat number 2. And this one is the battle between Zhifang Hu of the People's Republic of China and Nicholas Sibiak of Poland. It was Hu who took the first one, coming around the outside of Sibiak and outpacing her to the line. Both riders emerge from the centre of the track. Very busy track centre here in Aigle, with 45 nations represented in these Junior World Championships. The second time they've been hosted here at the World Cycling Centre in Aigle. And I know many of our viewers keen to know the prevailing weather conditions. It's been unbroken sunshine and very, very warm conditions over the last few days. It's still very warm today. We just had a very noisy thunderstorm about half an hour or so ago. And the rain peppering down on the roof here of the World Cycling Centre. It's taken a little bit of the edge off the temperature, but not too much. It's still very, very warm here inside the World Cycling Centre. And coming to the line, having drawn the inside position this time. Of course, they swap around from they draw and the opening encounter, then swap around for the second one, and then if it needs a third, they draw again. Because the theoretical advantage is for the rider on the outside, who doesn't have to take the lead, unless she elects to do so, of course. So, Nicola Sibiak deploys the magnetic visor on the front of her helmet, and away we go. Being trailed here by Zhifang Hu of China. Hu with the advantage. Sibiak has to win this one to force a decider. Sibiak has elected to go to the front and stay there. Hu just tracking around the lower section of the velodrome here in Aigle. Now the Chinese rider first to lift herself out of the saddle. Response from Sibiak. We saw Hu with a greater closing pace last time, and she's taken the lead with a lap to go. Hu of China once again beginning to distance her opponent from Poland. Sibiak fighting back, but she may have given the People's Republic of China rider too much of a gap into the finishing straight. Indeed, that is the case, and so it is Zhifang Hu of China in 2 straight rides who will secure her place in the final against Li Sophie Friedrich of Germany for the gold and silver medals. Again, no necessity for a decider in the semi-finals. And Nicola Sibiak, well, she'll have the opportunity to battle for the bronze medal with Alessa Katrina Probster of Germany. So once again, the pace of Zhifang Hu proving a little too much for Nicola Sibiak in that final lap. So we will be moving into the finals a little bit later in our competition programme here this afternoon, but this time the victory ceremony team really can put up the backdrop, ready for the victory ceremony, which will be for the event we saw a little bit earlier, the one that opened our coverage here today, the men's points race final. There's confirmation of the lineup for that women's sprint finals a little bit later for the gold and the bronze, gold and silver medal final and the bronze medal final. Friedrich and Hu for the gold, and Probster and Sibiak will battle for the bronze. Our next competitive action on the track following completion of this victory ceremony, all the men's individual pursuit finals. Whilst we just prepare the track centre for the victory ceremony, just whet your appetite by telling you that in qualification this morning we saw the world record in the men's individual pursuit fall not once but twice. More of that when we get into the coverage of our final. And without doubt it's going to be a scintillating battle for the men's individual pursuit title. But time to sit back and reflect on the glory of those riders who contested that 120-lap point race that opened our coverage here this afternoon, as they're shortly to come forward to receive their reward of the medals and, of course, those all-important rainbow bands that will be on the jersey of the overall winner. You can see our backdrop featuring many organisations, of course, who have made these 2018 World Championships possible here in Aigle. It's our great pleasure to bring you our live commentary and coverage every day. You can catch us on YouTube and also on Facebook as well. If you're watching this, of course, you'll already realise that, but If you've been following along on our Twitter feed as well, you can find information about the events as they happen. And our venue announcer down there, the former rider Franco Marvuli, who we discovered last night over dinner, was also the Swiss lip sync champion. Would you believe? He's not lip syncing this one, this is the real thing. And the riders will be shortly coming forward to receive the medals and the jerseys. Franco Marvuli, of course, great 6-day rider. And one I know well from his riding in Great Britain, particularly part of the Revolution series. And very, very good guy indeed. And he is our stadium announcer here, along with his colleague who is delivering the information in French and German as well. So we're about to bring our 3 medal winners forward onto the podium for the victory ceremony for the men's point race final. Or maybe we have something else to happen before that. I can shed no light on the proceedings currently happening on your screen. But looks like a presentation for a gentleman who is about to receive the very nice trophy. Meanwhile, the crowd, good crowd again here today, watching the racing. Shake of the hand, a presentation of a very nice memento there. So that just preceded our medal ceremony. And it was a scintillating men's point race. Don't forget, if you miss any of the action, you can actually watch it back by going to the UCI YouTube channel or Facebook, and you can watch each day's coverage if you so wish, so you can relive all the action if you miss any of it. And it was a great ride by Lucas Plapp of Australia. 3 lap gains during the point race. And a good finish also for Filip Prokopskin of Poland, winning the final sprint, and the 10 points, the double point score that went with that, to secure his 2nd place. And the silver medal ahead of Robin Skivild, who just overhauled the rider from Ukraine, Oleg Kanaka, for 3rd place and the bronze medal. So it will be Robin Skivild of Denmark who will be first to receive his bronze medal. So the medals and jerseys presented by Vice President of the UCI. And it will be the bronze for Robin Skivild of Denmark. Light applause from the Danish contingent. Filip Prokopskin of Poland, he's just making sure that someone down there is going to take a picture of it, will receive the silver medal. Great ride from him. Just securing that silver medal by winning the final sprint. But the man who lapped the field 3 times during the course of the race was Lucas Plapp, and therefore he is the 2018 Junior World Champion for the men's point race. Much to the delight of the Australian contingent. We're actually located just by our commentary point here, so we heard the screeches of excitement being emitted from the Australian supporters while we were bringing you coverage and commentary of that race. And what a great ride it was. There is the rainbow jersey, Junior World Champion, and of course the gold medal. So he takes the top step on the podium, a sporting handshake with Kropotkin and Skivild, and the flower presentation will now take place. And now, the national anthem of Australia. So the applause rings out around the World Cycling Centre, and the gold medalist is lifted aloft by the silver and bronze medalists. So they thoroughly enjoyed that, all three of them. There we go, the obligatory, make sure it's not a chocolate medal. The photographers love that shot. And there you go, our three medalists. Lucas Plapp, the new junior world champion, Filip Propopskin of Poland, and Robin Skiveld of Denmark. So with no necessity for a decider in either of the women's sprint semi-finals, next action on the track will be, as I mentioned a few moments ago, the finals of the men's individual pursuit, qualification phase of which took place earlier today. And as I alluded to a few moments ago, saw the world record, which actually was set at these championships last year, the Junior World Championships, broken on 2 occasions. Let us tell you a bit more about the individual pursuit.
No one's going to know what if I don't write that.
In the individual pursuit, riders with the 2 best times ride off in the final for gold and silver. The next 2 fastest riders ride off in the final for bronze and 4th place. 1 rider starts on each side of the track, and they race each other and the clock. The winner is determined by either catching the other rider or by recording the fastest time.
So if you're watching on day 1 of these championships and saw the team pursuit, then the individual pursuit is the same thing, but with just 1 rider. And there are our medal finals. The bronze medal will be contested between Finn Fisher-Black of New Zealand and Gleb Sirista of the Russian Federation. As I was mentioning a few moments ago, the world record fell twice today. It originally stood Stefan Bissinger of Switzerland. He actually set the medal here in competition 2 years ago when we were last here for the Junior World Championships here in Aigle back in 2016. It was 3:12.416. The first rider to go faster than that today was from Great Britain, Ethan Vernon. He posted a 3:12.226 to set a new world standard. But it didn't stand for very long because the final heat of the qualification round saw that time beaten pretty comprehensively by Lev Gonov of the Russian Federation. 3:11.143 is the new world record for the 3-kilometre distance. So this is the final for the bronze medal. Finn Fisher-Black of New Zealand will start in the home straight, and Gleb Sirista of the Russian Federation Well, he will start in the back straight. Rider's bike's just being secured in the starting gate. Fisher Black's bike all ready to go. A little bit of a delay there in the back straight for Syriza's bike. Commissaire over there, Wayne Mario from Canada, just having a very careful look at make sure the bike was correctly placed in the gate. He holds aloft that green flag, which indicates that the rider is ready. And Gleb Syriza of the Russian Federation, he was the member of the Team Pursuit winning gold medal squad last year at the Junior World Championships. Also took a silver medal in Madison as well, and is the current European Team Pursuit gold medalist as well. The European titles, of course, fought out here in Aigle next week, so he'll hang on to that European crown just for a couple more days. But this is the World Championships, the Junior World Championships, and the battle for the bronze medal. And the final few seconds of countdowns will appear. The final few seconds on the board for the riders, and as the countdown is completed, away they go. Finn Fisher-Black of New Zealand against Gleb Syriza of the Russian Federation. In qualification earlier today, it was the advantage for the New Zealand rider, 3:14.921 on the occasion of the qualification round this morning for the rider from New Zealand, and 3:15.154 for Gleb Syriza of the Russian Federation. So the theoretical advantage with Fisher-Black, but of course all that can change in the final. We'll get a split point for you at the completion of the opening 2 kilometres. The total distance of this is 3 kilometres. And I should just remind you, if you're wondering if you see a quick sight of one of the lap boards here at the velodrome, why the lap numbers maybe not what you expect. Well, of course, it's a 200-metre track, so they cover 15 laps of this track in order to complete 3 kilometres. On a 250-metre track, of course, it's 12 laps. Distance is the same, and therefore, of course, world records perfectly legitimately held. And that ride by Lev Gonov this morning, 3:11.143, really did move the benchmark considerably in the pursuit of world titles and world records. You will see him in the final against the former world record holder, at least for about 20 minutes, Ethan Vernon of Great Britain. But our focus at the moment on these two, and it is Gleb Syriza of the Russian Federation, who is faster after the opening lap by just 0.5 of a second, 1:08.140 for Syriza, 1:08.612 for Fisher-Black of New Zealand. Both riders, of course, will be riding to a very carefully calculated schedule. Coaches at trackside, just indicating their progress in relation to that schedule. I think the New Zealand coach trying to inject a bit more urgency into this ride here of Finn Fisher-Black, because it is still advantage for Russian Federation here at the moment. Gleb Syriza. Both riders with very neat pursuiting style, absolutely rock steady on the bike, just the legs pumping out the rhythm every single lap ticked off. Aerodynamic aids, of course, the twin disc wheels. Yeah. Even the skin suits these days and other such parts of the rider's attire are wind tunnel tested to make sure they're absolutely the best that they can be. Interestingly, the rider from New Zealand, Finn Fisher-Black, is not utilising track mitts here. His Russian opponent is. Again, all that can go into the calculation of drag factors, but at the moment it is still Syriza in 2:11.070, who is ahead of Fisher-Black in 2:12.205 as we go into the final lap here. Can Finn Fisher-Black of New Zealand fight back? I don't think he can, and it looks like it is going to be a bronze medal for Russian Federation, and Gleb Syriza takes that in a time of 3:15.251. Almost an action replay in time of his qualification ride this morning. Unfortunately, Finn Fisher-Black going a little bit slower than he did in qualification earlier today, and posting a time of 3:17.014 to finish 4th overall in that competition. But bronze it is for Gleb Syriza of the Russian Federation, 3:15.251. So from the bronze medal final, we will focus our attention now on the battle for gold and silver. And both of the riders you'll see on the track now have held the world record in this event. First to take it was Great Britain's Ethan Vernon in his qualification ride this morning. The old record 3:12.416 from Bissiger, as we mentioned earlier, and Vernon's shattering that 3:12.226. But when it came to the final qualification heat, and Lev Gonov set another new benchmark for the world standard, 3:11.143. So the new world champion, Lev Gonov, will start in the home straight for Russian Federation, and the former world champion will start in the back straight for Great Britain. Lev Gonov versus Ethan Vernon for the gold and silver medals in the men's individual pursuit final. The final adjustments just being made to Ethan Vernon's bike in the back straight. The always attentive Eddie Fergreave, Great Britain team mechanic, making sure the bike is absolutely correctly placed in the gate. So the bike is now secure, and the flag is raised. So the 50-second countdown will begin as soon as the bike is secured in the gate. The riders have 50 seconds before the gun fires and the battle gets underway. Ethan Vernon, the current British junior individual pursuit champion, having taken the title at the Newport Velodrome in South Wales very recently, along with the time trial, also Madison champion as well. So Vernon in the back straight, but his opponent, Lev Gonov, another member of that gold medal winning team pursuit squad for Russian Federation last year at the Junior World Championships. He was the bronze medalist in the individual pursuit last year. So off they go. This is going to be a real battle. Both riders tasted the success of a world record. First Vernon, then snatched away by Gonov just a few heats later. Let's see if they can reproduce that form here in the final. Getting a good start is always key to this one. Both riders making a very clean departure from the starting gate. Again, adopting that stretched out aerodynamic position, slicing through the air here inside the World Cycling Centre. Just visible on the rear of Gonov's bike, that little sender unit that transmits the statistics from the ride to the team coaches, so they can analyse every single millimetre of the track and every moment of the 3 odd minutes of racing that will bring a medal. But will it be the gold or the silver for either of these two? Well, it'll be one or the other, and we are at the completion of the opening kilometre. It is Ethan Vernon who is ahead, 1:07.501 for the rider from Great Britain, 1:08.280 for Gonov of the Russian Federation. So an early advantage for Vernon. See our on-screen graphic showing you the deficit, a little red band there in the side of Gonov, showing that he's just slightly behind by 0.459 of a second. 1,500 metres covered so far, so exactly the halfway point. 0.376 now is the difference between these two. Gonov just beginning to rack up the effort here. Vernon still turning in some very consistent laps as well. Well, just at 1/100th of a second now, more or less, between them. And the fortune's beginning to swing now in favour of Lev Gonov of the Russian Federation. Well, he was faster than Vernon this morning. Both riders, of course, at world record pace. But Gonov with that slight advantage. And it's now beginning to be reflected here in the gold and silver medal final. Ethan Vernon will give every last ounce of effort he can here to try and overhaul his opponent from the Russian Federation, but the gap is now in favour of Gonov by 0.533 of a second. Times of the second kilometre, 2:10.358 for Gonov, 2:10.621 for Vernon. Still very close, but now the screw really begins to be turned by Lev Gonov. With a lap to go, the advantage for the Russian Federation rider is more than half a second. Ethan Vernon will do well to come back from this position. And it looks as though we are looking at the gold medal going to the Russian Federation. And Lev Gonov, the world record holder, is now the junior world champion as well. 3:13.400, well, both rides outside world record pace that time. But really that didn't matter. It was all about being first to finish and, of course, securing the gold medal. But all credit also to Ethan Vernon, a great ride, 3:14.067. He challenged for every single lap of that pursuit, but just overhauled by Gonov inside that final kilometre. And, of course, that bronze medal for Gleb Syriza. We'll see two riders from the Russian Federation on the victory ceremony podium a little bit later. Average speed, by the way, for the final ride there in the gold and silver medal final, 55.843 kilometres per hour for Lev Gonov in taking that title. There he is. Well, a great day's work for Lev Gonov. He will be getting the rainbow jersey of Junior World Champion, will get the gold medal of Junior World Champion, and his name will go into the record standings as the holder of the world record for the individual pursuit. His time of 3:11.143, posted in qualification this morning, the new world record. So our standings there, just summarised for you with our on-screen graphic. We'll see the medal presentation for that individual pursuit a little bit later on this evening. But we're going to return to women's sprint action now. You can see the sprinters down there, just about to make the draw for the starting positions. Gone are the days of a playing cards selection and a clipboard. We now have touchscreen technology at work to confirm who is going to start where on the track, drawing, of course, for the position inside and outside line in each of the finals. Best of three, of course, as you would expect at this stage of the competition. So the bronze medal final will be contested by the two losing riders from the semi-finals, Alessa Katriona-Propster of Germany and Nikola Sibiak of Poland. And the battle for the gold and silver medals will be played out between Leah Sophie Friedrich of Germany and Zhi Fanghu of the People's Republic of China. Bronze medal final first, match number one. It is just readying themselves at trackside. See the feet being secured very firmly to the pedals of the bicycle, not relying purely on the clip-in pedals, but also securing it with a Velcro strap as well. Make sure the foot doesn't come adrift. The pressure is applied to those pedals and the sprint begins in earnest. 3 laps of the track. Propster first to arrive, but the rider who's drawn the inside line is Nikola Sibiak. Sibiak, member of the bronze medal winning team pursuit squad on day one of these championships, and Propster, winner of the gold medal as part of the German duo who took the gold medal and the world title in the women's team sprint. So they've both been on the podium already at these championships, but only one of them on this occasion will be in the battle for the bronze medal. 3 opportunities to secure this one. It's always good to get the first win in a best of 3. And it is Sibiak who has led this one away. Propster the lower position here. No finessing in the opening lap. They're keeping the pace high. Well, Sibiak looking over her right shoulder, but realising then that Propster is actually below her left shoulder. So Just rejigging her position. They are shoulder to shoulder as they come towards the bell with 1 lap to go. Propster on the inside. She's got the marginally shorter way around the track. Sibiak has got to go around the outside. She can't go underneath that red line. Propster is already inside that sprinter's lane. That's going to give her victory here in the first heat because Sibiak has already conceded that one to the rider who took the victory there, Alessa Katrina Propster. Sibiak left herself with a big job to do. She had to come off the wheel of Propster. Not only that, she had to go the longer way around the outside because Propster was firmly planted inside that sprinter's line and wasn't about to give it up. So as I said, it's always good to get the first of the best of 3 to your credit, and that has been secured by Alessa Katrina Propster of Germany. So Nicola Sibiak will be under pressure in the second encounter. She will have to win that one to force a decider. Confirmation of that result. The green dot against Alessa Katrina Propster, indicating she is the winner of match number 1. We all turn our attention now to the second match, and this is of course the match, the heat for the gold medal. We're contested between Leah Sophie Friedrich of Germany and the rider who's just selecting position 2. Little smile there from Zhifang Hu of China. So that means she'll start on the outside, and Leah Sophie Friedrich has drawn the inside position. Friedrich, of course, the other member of that gold medal winning team sprint squad from day 1 of these championships. Zhifang Hu, part of the silver medal winning People's Republic of China team, also in the team sprint. I'm sure she'd dearly like to convert that to a gold medal here, but she'll have to overcome Leah Sophie Friedrich in order to achieve that. First opportunity to get her name on the board in this opening match. It'll be Friedrich who's obliged to lead away from the line, unless Hu elects to go past her. Stars are happy that both riders are good to go. Whistle blows and they roll away from the line. Well, Hu not quite backpedaling, but certainly determined to take up second spot there, dropping into the well of the track behind Friedrich. As they roll into the back straight, they have to complete the first half lap at better than walking pace, which they have done. Hu takes the higher position on the track now. Friedrich looking over her shoulder, trying to preempt any attacking move from Hu. Will it come in the earlier part of the race? Will it come down to the final lap to decide the outcome? Well, Hu begins to accelerate. She's out of the saddle. Draws level with Friedrich as they come into the banking under the scoreboard. Friedrich again with the shorter line here as they come across the line with a lap to go. Friedrich of Germany trying to hold off Hu of the People's Republic of China. Hu's left himself a big gap to close here. Friedrich riding extremely well, coming into the finishing straight. And once again, as we saw in the previous match, the rider in second spot conceded before the finish line was reached. And Leah Sophie Friedrich of Germany takes match number 1 in the gold and silver medal final. And Zhifang Hu of the People's Republic of China will have to try and get the better of Friedrich in their second encounter. Well, Friedrich had the head of that race right from the get-go. She drew that inside position. Hu determined to take up second spot, which he did, but then found himself unable to overcome the pace of Friedrich in the closing stages. A little acknowledgement there from Leah Sophie Friedrich. And be feeling just a little bit easier now with that first match the good. She can deliver the knockout blow in match 2 without necessity for a third encounter, then so much the better. But Zhifang Hu of China will certainly be heading back to her team pen to have a think about how she could possibly overcome the pace of Leah Sophie Friedrich when it comes to match 2 in the gold and silver medal final. That'll be coming later on during the course of our coverage here this evening. This is day 3 of the 2018 UCI Junior Track Cycling World Championships. And it's high time we return to the action in the women's Omnium competition. It is the final element of this one. It is the point race. We saw the elimination race contest a little bit earlier. And a fortuitous win for Vittoria Ghazini of Italy, despite crashing in the earlier part of the elimination. She got back up and she got back in and she won the race, just getting the better of Caterina Soto Campos of Chile. There are the Omnium points standings going into the final element, 116 points, which is the points that Ghazini of Italy will start with. 102 for Soto Campos of Chile, 100 points for Bossiet of Belgium. Great Britain's Ellie Russell lies in 4th spot with 98 points. And Alexandra Martin-Wallace of Australia in next position with 94. So, standard points race procedure. We showed you our quick guide to the points race when we brought you our men's final earlier this evening. This one was contested over a somewhat shorter distance for the women's Omnium point race final. It's 70 laps, 14 kilometres in total, with 7 sprints to be contested. Point scoring though, that is the same. 5 points for a sprint win, 3 for second, 2 for third, 1 for fourth, with the exception of the final sprint where double points are scored. And of course it is 20 points for that all-important lap gain, which will subsequently be lost if the lap is lost. So the riders coming out onto the track now. They began the day with the point race to qualify into the Omnium. Sizable entry. Of course, the riders whittled down to just 20 competitors. Take them into the first element this morning, which was the scratch race. That was then followed by the tempo race. And then, of course, we brought you the elimination race as part of our coverage here, our live coverage from the championships here this evening. And you will have the full point race played out for you as well over the next 70 laps. So half the riders will start on the fence, half on the inside of the track, as is normal for these distance races. And they will start in the order of the Omnium standing, so the front row of the starting grid, as it were, will be rider from Italy, Vittoria Ghazini, then Catalina Soto Campos of Chile, Shari Bossiet of Belgium, and Ellie Russell of Great Britain were the first 4 riders in line. Russell of Great Britain already in position. There's the rest of the field line up as well. Looking for our Omnium leaders who'll be coming forward to the front row here. Vittoria Ghazini, well, she had a real scare in that elimination race, and she lost her front wheel. I wonder she's going through a little bit of a ritual there, hoping for better luck this time. And part and parcel of that crash that fell Ghazini also brought down Petra Sevcikova of the Czech Republic. Sevcikova lies in 6th place at the moment with 88 points to go into this point race. The hand of the Australian there on the fence, and that is Alexandra Martin-Wallace, finishing in 5th spot in that elimination race. And at the bottom of the track, the rider at the front of the line there is the rider who was 2nd in the elimination, 5th in both the scratch and the tempo race, Catalina Soto Campos of Chile, 102 points for her. So 7 sprints to be contested here. Remember, the final sprint will carry double points. We saw how important that can be in the men's point race final at the beginning of our coverage this evening. Vittoria Ghazini starts with that 14-point advantage ahead of Catalina Soto Campos. There she is, number 37. The dark blue colours of Italy. Just behind her, the rider who came rather closer to her than she wanted to in that elimination race, the rider from the Czech Republic, Petra Sevcikova. United States right at the top of the track there is propping up the standings. Lost 3 riders during the course of the preceding elements of the Omnium. So we're down to 17 starters for this point race final. 68 laps to go. And the first significant attacking move here coming from Vivian Chui of the Hong Kong China team. Of course, lap gains, very valuable. 20 points they carry. For those riders further down the standings, Chui with just 48 points to her credit at the moment. So if she stands any chance of trying to grab a medal in this Omnium, she will have to gain at least 1 lap on the field. I hope that those riders at the top of the standings don't do similarly. She's at the head of the race now, being chased by a rider from Poland, that's Marta Jasulska. Jasulska catches and passes the Hong Kong China rider. She is now the head of the race. 4 away from the opening sprint. Main field in front of that one. It's the colours of Lithuania and also Ukanaita. Ali Russell of Great Britain now begins to animate the chase. Russell's got ground to make up here. She went into the elimination race in 2nd place overall in the Omnium standings, but was eliminated relatively early, finishing 6th overall in the elimination. That dropped her down the standings to 4th place, so outside a medal at the moment. She'll be desperate to try and grab some points in the early stages of this point race to move herself back into contention for a place on the podium. And accordingly, she comes to the front of the chasing group. Head of the race, though, is the rider in the finishing straight here from Poland with 1 lap to go to the sprint. Marta Jasulska looks good for the 5 points. Ellie Russell is going to take on Alexandra Martin-Wallace for 2nd here, so it's 5 for Jasulska. Or Russell just, I think, beaten into 2nd place there by Alexandra Martin-Wallace. So Wallace gets 3, Russell gets 2, and Olna Kulnich of Ukraine picks up 1 point for the 4th place finish in that sprint. It is still Jasulska of Poland, the head of the race. 3 chasers now for the battle behind as the main field begins to fragment. And it looks like Jasulska will sit up and await the arrival of that group, headed by Ellie Russell. So Alexandra Martin-Wallace. Olna Kulnich of the Ukraine as well. Main field are about to come back to them though. Little struggle at the back of the line here for the rider from Lithuania. So off the pace a little bit is Valentina Munoz of Argentina. Those are the 2 back markers, all together at the head of the race, with 6 laps to go to the next sprint. Out of the saddle, more pace being injected, this time by the Russian Federation and Daria Malkova. Malkova lies 9th, she has got 72 points so far. Didn't score in that first sprint, so determined to try and make amends this time round. We're 5 away from sprint number 2. She's being pursued by Olna Kulnich of the Ukraine. Those 2 have gained a small advantage, and it is still Malkova just ahead of Kulnich as they come through the line here. Rider in the white, red, blue, the Russian Federation, being pursued by rider in the blue and yellow of Ukraine. Main field watching them go currently, so they've almost got half a lap lead. We're getting ever closer to the 2nd opportunity for scoring points. 53 laps to go. We're seeing a move here underneath the bunch from rider trying to bridge that gap, but it's looking ominously close to a lap gain here for first rider who went on the attack. Rider from the Russian Federation is going to gain the lap here with 2 laps to go to the sprint. Head of the race now is the Ukrainian. She'd be wise just to hang off the back of that bunch because we're just a lap away from the points scoring sprint. And she pick up the points and then the lap gain, but she has made the lap gain. Oh, Ellie Russell of Great Britain has crashed there. Russell is down just under the scoreboard. Well, more problems for Ellie Russell, who started the elimination race in 2nd spot, but she is on the floor at the moment, being attended to by Monagrido from the British camp, but the sprint is taking place in the meantime. The lap gain for Olna Kulnich, meanwhile, from the Ukraine, along with Jasulska. So 49 to go. Ishigami of Japan gets 5 points. Soto Campos, 3 points for Chile. Alexandra Martin Wallace, 2 for Australia. And Marta Jasulska, 1 point for Poland. So those points will be fed into the overall standings. Ghazini yet to score. Ellie Russell, you can see the side of the track there, still out of the action. The bike is looks good to go, but I'm not quite sure that Ellie Russell is. So we'll keep half an eye on that. But meanwhile, 3 riders now at the front of the race, once again beginning to animate the action. And it's Poland once again who have gone on the attack with Marta Jasulska. So Malkova and Kulnic, the riders who gained the lap just before that sprint. That moves Malkova up to 6th place now with 92 points scored. Kulnic into 12th spot, 55 points for her. Ellie Russell's back on the bike and back on the track, just within the required number of laps, I think. So she'll rejoin the race, I think, without deficit. So looked like desperate moments for a little while there for Great Britain's Ellie Russell. Currently 3rd with 100 points scored. Ghazini with 116, still at the top of the leaderboard. She's yet to pick up a point or indeed a lap gain. Soto Campos got 3 points in the last sprint, so she's closed the deficit a little bit to Ghazini, who still tops the leaderboard. 43 to go, head of the race are the 4 riders now in the finishing straight, headed by the United States of America. Ukraine also on the attack here as well. It looks like a lap gain will be made here, just short of the sprint. That leaves the Ukrainian rider as the head of the race. And she will pick up the 5 points if she doesn't make the lap. So through the 40-lap sprint, we'll get the information from that one shortly, but our starter indicating that head of the race now is Janine Kukas of Austria, Oksa Kukanaita of Lithuania, 2nd in that sprint, ahead of Vivian Nature of the Hong Kong China team, and Shari Bosyut of Belgium in 4th place for 1 point. A lot of pointing going on here, 38 to go. Main field have regrouped. More lap gains were made as well during the course of that sprint. Just waiting for our scoring system to reflect all of that action. Meanwhile, 37 laps to go. And a searing attack at the head of the main field from the rider who leads the Omnium, Vittoria Ghazini, showing herself for the first time in this point race. She is looking for that lap gain. She's being pursued by the rider in 2nd place, Catalina Soto Campos of Chile. Soto Campos now just within 6 points of Ghazini, and with those riders who gained the lap most recently, Malkova of the Russian Federation now moves up into 2nd place with 112 points. 2 laps gained in this race so far for Daria Malkova. The head of the race at the moment is Vittoria Ghazini, the Italian rider, being pursued by Catalina Soto Campos, now finds herself 3rd, 2 points behind Daria Malkova. Riders most recently who gained the lap were Belarus, Lithuania, Poland, Russia, Ukraine and the United States of America. Well, Ghazini is looking for a lap gain, and the 20 points will go with it. She is the head of the race underneath the scoreboard here at the World Cycling Centre. The main field is coming out of corner 2 and into the back straight. So Ghazini is just about 20 metres away from the back of that field. Straining also to make the gap here is Catalina Soto Campos of Chile, trying to regain that 2nd place in the silver medal position. They're 2 away from the next sprint. Ghazini has realised that she is not going to make that lap gain unless she takes the points in the sprint. I don't think. She's got a lap to go. She has eased back here. She knows the lap is there for the taking, but she also knows there are a valuable 5 points on the line here in a lap's time. She is the head of the race. She will get the sprint points, then she will take the lap. So the net result will be 25 points gained by Vittoria Ghazini, her first lap gain of the race. So that leaves Soto Campos of Chile, the head of the race now. She's not persisted with that move, so she'll be reabsorbed by the main fielder. So just the one lap gain that was made by Vittoria Ghazini, and that moves her lead now to 141 points. So once again, Ghazini has a comfortable margin ahead of Catalina Soto Campos of Chile, who is back up into second place, 113 points, just one ahead of Daria Malkova of the Russian Federation, already with 2 lap gains to her credit during the course of this race. Marta Jasulska of Poland is fourth on 109, and in fifth place is Shari Boschiut of Belgium in 102 points scored for her. So it's very, very close at the top of this competition. 6 riders with 100 points or more. Ellie Russell in 6th spot with 100 points. Of course, she has been on the deck crashing just a few minutes ago, but please say she is now back in the action, but outside the potential medal positions currently. Rejigging of the standings will see Russell, I think, drop down. In fact, she has retired from the race. So it's brave of Ellie Russell to get back onto the bike. She crashed very heavily indeed, as you may have seen. Our TV picture bring that information to you, and I can tell you that Ellie Russell will be a non-finisher in the women's Omnium. So she was briefly in the silver medal position just before the start of the elimination race, but ill fortune has ruled Ellie Russell of Great Britain out of the action. So at the top of the leaderboard now, 141 points for Vittoria Ghazini of Italy. 2 riders are making the running at the head of the race with 23 laps to go. Coming into the finishing straight now, and once again the rider who is trying to go clear from Poland is Marta Jasulska. She's already gained a lap here, 109 points to the good. With her is the rider from the Ukraine, who has also been mixing up at the front of the race for quite a few laps here, but she's also trying to haul herself up the standings. That is Olna Kulnic. She's currently lying 9th with 75 points. Despite having gained 2 laps, she's still in 9th spot. 3 riders now comes to the head of the race for the next sprint. It is Russian Federation, Australia and Belgium for the points on the line. And the Belgian rider continuing to make the effort, 20 laps to go. So head of the race, Belgium, followed by Russian Federation, Ghazini of Italy, also up there as well, and Jasulska of Poland comes back to the head of the action. 18 laps to go. So 141 points for Ghazini, 117 for Malkova of Russian Federation, who's now up in second place, once again displacing Catalina Soto Campos down to 3rd. 3 points her deficit. Malkova getting maximum points in that sprint. Martin Wallace of Australia with 3, Suit of Belgium 2, and Soto Campos 1 point. So the battle for the silver medal continues here between Daria Malkova and Catalina Soto Campos. Marta Jasulska also within reaching distance as well, along with Shari Boschiut and Alexandra Martin Wallace of Australia. Remember, there are double points on the last sprint of the race. We are 5 laps away from the penultimate sprint. Head of the race is the rider from Ukraine on the front of the bunch here, giving chase. Belgium, but the Ukrainian will be indicated here as the leader on the track. The blue and yellow colours, number 65, that is Olna Kulnic, already with 2 lap gains during the course of this race. 40 points has hauled her well up the standings here. Still 9th overall with 75 points scored. Relatively poor performance from Kulnic in the scratch race, saw her score just 4 points, and 10th in the tempo, 17th in the elimination race. So these 2 lap gains have been valuable here, and she is about to make another one. Well, 3 lap gains if she makes contact with the rear of the main field. It's 2 away from the sprint. Will she hang on and just take the sprint points? Well, no, she's going to gain the lap, I think, just before the sprint. She's actually not quite there. It's agonisingly close. Our judges will be waiting to put a tick in the box for the lap gain here. 1 lap to go to the sprint, and I think Kulnic will be adjudged to have gained the lap before they go into that sprint. And so the points on the front of the bunch here for Belgium and Poland and Russian Federation, with a battle for points on the line here. We go 10 lap to go sprint. Belgium from Russian Federation from Poland across the line. And it looked like Soto Campos for Chile in 4th place there. Another lap gain for Kulnic will move her further up the standings into 7th place now. 3 lap gains, 95 points, but still outside the medals. It just goes to prove that you need to be consistent in the Omnium. Try and do all of your scoring in the final point race is a very risky strategy indeed. And despite 3 lap gains, Kulnic still only 7th with 95 points. Ghazini, meanwhile, with a 21-point advantage and just 1 lap to go, 1 lap sprint to go, I should say, the conclusion of the race, 8 laps of racing to go. Ghazini with 141 points. Once again, it is the rider from the Ukraine, on Kulnic, who goes on the attack. Well, can she get another lap gain in the final 7? I suspect that might be a tall order, but of course the riders at the front of that bunch, they're more interested in the battle for the medals between Malkova of Russia and Soto Campos of Chile, just 5 points separating them. Jasulska of Poland is in 4th place at the moment, 111 points. There are 10 points available to the winner of the final sprint. Of course, if Kulnic maintains this advantage ahead of the race, she'll pick up those 10 points, and that will move her into a potential position, 95-105, still not a potential position for a medal, despite the hard work of the Ukrainian here, but the Polish rider is determined to pick up points as well. She's on 111, 121 will be available if she were to take the win in the final sprint. That will move her up into 2nd place, and the silver medal ahead of Malkova of Russia. Ghazini is safe in the main field, an unassailable lead of 21 points, and the possibility of the lap gain has faded now with just 3 laps to go, so she can begin to feel confident of victory. The battle for 2nd continues, and it is the rider here 2nd on the track with number 54 on her back, Marta Jasulska. If she were to get the 10 points on the line this time, take her 121 points and the silver medal if Daria Malkova Russia fails to score in the final sprint. Here is the bell, 1 lap to go. It is Ukraine and Kulnic at the head of the race. She will pick up the 10 points. 6 points look available here to the rider from Poland, Marta Jasulska. That'll take her to 117, a potential bronze medal finish. And Russian Federation across the line there for Daria Malkova. She will get 4. That'll make her up to 124. So Malkova has secured the silver, but Jasulska will get the bronze. But no doubt about your winner. She is the rider on your screen now, number 37 in the blue colours of Italy, Vittoria Ghazini. 1 lap gain during the course of that point race. The 20 points that went with it. And she takes 141 points out of the end of that race, and with it the gold medal and the Junior Women's Omnium Championship for Vittoria Ghazini of Italy. The Italians celebrating, as you imagine they would. Daria Malkova, great ride for her, 2 lap gain during that point race, finishing on 124 points. Marta Jasulska just denied that silver. She picked up the points in 2nd place. She'd have got the win. She might have just overhauled Malkova, but she was 2nd for 6 points. Gives her the silver medal nevertheless. And Marta Jasulska of Poland, who is the rider on the floor there, absolutely exhausted, but celebrating a bronze medal in the World Junior Women's Omnium Final with 117 points scored. So that's the way the race finishes. Compliments to Olna Kulnic, who gained 3 laps during the course of that race to haul herself up the standings, eventually into 6th place. Not enough for a medal, but certainly from the relatively low position when she started 15th when she started that point race, up into 6th place at the end with those 3 lap gains. But it wasn't enough to unseat the gold medalist, Vittoria Ghazini of Italy. And there she is, being congratulated by the Italian contingent who've made the trip just across the border here into Switzerland to cheer on the riders here for these Junior World Championships. And they have a gold medalist now, will be on the podium very, very shortly. We'll bring the victory ceremony for the women's sprint. Will be coming up later on this evening. That competition will continue, of course, next on the track. But there are the final Omnium standings on the screen for you. Vittoria Ghazini, your winner and gold medalist, 141 points. Daria Malkova for the Russian Federation, 2nd with 124 on the silver. And Marta Jasulska of Poland, third for bronze with 117 points. Well, the horns ringing out around the velodrome here in Aigle. The end of a very well contested women's point race, the fourth element of the women's omnium. So, as I mentioned, we'll see that medal ceremony relatively shortly, but we will turn our attention back to the women's sprint competition, the match 2 stage of this one. So the first of our finals will be match 2 in the battle for the bronze between Alessa Katriona Propster of Germany and Nikola Sibiak of Poland. It's Propster who took match 1. She's delivered to the line here and has drawn the inside position this time by default, because they swap around from the draw made for match 1. If it goes to a decider, they'll draw again to see who starts on the inside. This time Sibiak will take this one on from the outside. She was outpaced by Propster last time around, so she needs to make sure she tries to keep as close as she possibly can to Propster. She try and take the lead position as they roll away from the line. Well, Propster's not going to let her have it. Propster, relatively rapid departure from the line to make sure she got the lead position. Obviously favours riding this one from the front, but left the door open for Sibiak to dive underneath there. So Sibiak has now got the lead from Propster. Propster was a little high on the track. She was looking over her shoulder for Sibiak, and Sibiak thought, I'll have that. I'll just slip underneath you. There was just about room to do it, and she's now on the front. But Propster begins to fight back now. She's got the longer way round this time. So Sibiak of Poland still with the lead. Propster, well, she almost collided with the back wheel of the Polish rider as they came into the banking under the scoreboard there. And it is Sibiak across the line ahead of Propster. So if that result is confirmed, it will be 1 match all, and that will go to a decider. Several moments during that race, but we have attracted the attention of our commissaires just to confirm that result. First of all, the move made underneath Propster by Sibiak. She did have the space to do it, I think. And here is the battle as they came towards the line, and they always came together. It was German rider who came down towards Sibiak, who did actually come out of the sprinters line a little, but it was a German rider who was vying for that position. Let's have a little look at that in slow motion here. German rider came down towards the sprint line, already occupied by Sibiak. Realised she couldn't take position there. Sibiak defended that position well. You can see the commissaires having a very careful look at that one to confirm that result. So we won't call that until we've had official confirmation. No doubt that Sibiak was first across the line. We have a technology here to allow the race officials to review the situation in a race. We have a judge arbiter who is positioned on the first banking here at the velodrome, who makes first call on the action on the track. Propster throws her gloves down in disgust there, so clearly not happy with her ride there. And Nikola Sibiak confirmed as the winner of the second one, so that will go to the decider. And we will turn our attention to the gold and silver medal final, match 2 in this one. Again, German interest in this with Leah Sophie Friedrich, the winner of the first encounter. Her opponent, Zhifang Hu, the People's Republic of China. Well, Friedrich showed a great turn of pace in this one. Hu tried desperately to get around her in the first match. Didn't quite have the pace required to do so. They're both down there. And you can see on the handlebars there of Leah Sophie Friedrich, the hashtag Say Strong for Christina Vogel, who of course had that horrendous accident in training little while ago, still receiving treatment. Christina Vogel, of course, a great world champion on the track, and I'm sure we all join with the German team in wishing her the very best for a recovery. Great rider, Christina Vogel. But back to the juniors here, and the battle for match 2 in the gold and silver medal final. Leah Sophie Friedrich of Germany and Zhifang Hu of China. Hu on the front this time as they roll away from the line. Again, no finessing here, it's straight into it. Hu knows that Friedrich potentially has the better closing sprint. She beat her for pace in the first encounter. She's determined not to let that happen this time. But Friedrich accelerates. Hu has to respond quickly here, because if the gap opens, Friedrich will have this one. And Hu comes off the corner using the height of the track to try and get more pace, but Friedrich is into the acceleration phase as well. 1 lap to go. Friedrich once again on the front. This is almost a carbon copy of the first match. Hu gave up coming out of corner 3 last time, and it's almost as though she's going to do the same again here, because Friedrich has outpaced her. Well, that is a commanding victory and gold for Leah Sophie Friedrich in 2 straight rounds for Germany. Once again, Zhifang Hu had no answer to the speed of her German opponent, and Leah Sophie Friedrich secures the gold medal and is the new junior women's world sprint champion. Silver for Zhifang Hu of China. The bronze, well, that's still to be decided between Alessa Katriona Propster and Nicola Sibiak. That one, of course, going to the decider, but no necessity for a third match in that one. And Leah Sophie Friedrich is the German champion, and now the world champion. And the always usefully placed Franco Marvuli on his way down to the track centre to host the medal ceremony, hands the German flag to Leah Sophie Friedrich, which will now drape around the shoulders and continue the celebrations for the German team. Well, her teammate Alessa Katriona Propster, of course, they were teammates when they both took the gold medal in the women's team sprint on day 1 of these championships. We saw the frustration of Propster having been beaten by Sibiak in the second match. I'm sure she'll be sharing a little bit in the delight with Leah Sophie Friedrich, who takes the gold, but of course she would dearly love to join her on the podium for the bronze medal. We'll see the conclusion of that battle, the decider for the bronze medal, a little bit later, but next we have the victory ceremony for the men's individual pursuit. It'll be happening in a few moments' time. Meanwhile, congratulations in the German camp for Leah Sophie Friedrich, who is the new junior world champion for the women's sprint. So she's added a second gold medal to her tally here already, with the team sprint gold from day 1, and now with the sprint gold as well. Shake of the hand and embrace from all the team personnel there from Germany. And poignant for the reasons we mentioned at the beginning as well. So as she continues to celebrate, taking the photos down there, we will be bringing up the backdrop here in the track centre for our next victory ceremony for the men's individual pursuit. A race that saw 2 world records established in qualification this morning. First for Ethan Vernon. And no sooner had he become used to the fact he was the new world record holder than it was snatched away from him by Lev Gonov. And the order the same in the final. So Lev Gonov will be the recipient of the gold medal, Ethan Vernon the silver, and Gleb Syriza will make it a 1 and 3 for the Russian Federation when the riders come to the podium in just a moment for the men's individual pursuit. Meanwhile, a bit of hair maintenance required before the women's sprint podium, but still one more piece of unfinished business before we can confirm that one for you and bring you our final 2 victory ceremonies. The women's omnium, of course, already decided. The women's sprint bronze medal yet to be decided. It's been a great day here, long day for day 3 of these championships. The action beginning at 9 o'clock this morning with the women's omnium qualification races. And the individual pursuiters also had a long qualification round with a total of 48 riders entered for the men's individual pursuit competition. But it came down to the 4 who contested the final. The top 3 are heading now for the victory podium. So we begin with the presentation of the bronze medal. And he was last year's champion. Bronze for him this year. Gleb Syriza of the Russian Federation receives the bronze medal. Second place, briefly the holder of the world record in qualification this morning for Great Britain's Ethan Vernon. He's the British junior champion in this discipline, and now the silver medalist at world junior level. Ethan Vernon of Great Britain receives the silver medal. And to receive the gold medal, he is the new world record holder for the junior competition as well, from the Russian Federation. Taking the gold medal, Lev Gonov. Not only the gold medal, but of course the rainbow jersey of world junior champion. Just a little battle to get the sleeves on there. Zip it up, and here comes the medal. A proud moment for this man, taking not only the World Championship, but also achieving a world record in the process. Lev Gonov of the Russian Federation is your gold medalist. Silver medal for Ethan Vernon of Great Britain, and bronze for Gleb Syriza of the Russian Federation. Flower presentation, after which we will hear the national anthem of the Russian Federation. So the anthem of the Russian Federation, the 3 riders take the step of the podium. Your gold medalist, Lev Gonov, your silver medalist, Ethan Vernon, and the bronze medalist, Gleb Syriza. as the riders leave the podium. You can see the device that determines the starting order for the riders who've got the final opportunity to stake a claim on the bronze medal. In the women's sprint, Alessa Catriona Propster clicks the appropriate button. Nicola Sibiak acknowledges that the other position is hers. Well, they're both smiling. But there can only be one bronze medal winner, and it's one match each. Alessa Catriona Propster, winner of the first. Nicola Sibiak, winner of the second. So this will be the decider for the bronze medal. Bikes being brought out onto trackside, closely followed by the riders who'll be contesting this one. Well, Propster of Germany has just seen her teammate and co-gold medal winner in the team sprint, Leah Sophie Friedrich, take the gold medal. So I'm sure she would dearly love to take this one and add a bronze. See two German riders on the podium. Xi Fanqiu, the People's Republic of China, already of course the silver medal, having been beaten by Friedrich in that gold medal final. But Nicola Sibiak, herself a medalist in the team sprint as well. She took a bronze. And, her second opportunity here for a bronze medal, but she has to win against Propster. One match each. It's all down to this decider, and 3 laps of the track. So starting on the inside in the white and red colours of Poland is Nicola Sibiak, and on the outside in the white, black, and with the yellow, red and black bands of Germany is Alessa Catriona Propster. So Sibiak leads away. It's a good battle in the second match. Propster much a little faster, but Sibiak responded well. And once again, Propster takes close order here, drawing alongside Sibiak, but Sibiak still with the lead at the end of the first lap. She has the low position on the track as well inside that sprinter's line. Propster using the height of the track here to try and propel herself closer to Sibiak, but a good advantage here for Sibiak. She's injecting more pace here, coming around to the bell this time, and 1 lap to go. Still Sibiak of Poland. Can Propster come back? Propster now starts to make a move around the outside. She is almost level with Sibiak, but is still advantage Poland. The shorter way to the finish line is the one for the Polish rider. Can Propster come around the outside? It's going to be very close, but Sibiak of Poland hangs on and takes the bronze medal. Nicola Sibiak fought for her very life there against Alessa Catriona Propster, and she shakes her head almost in disbelief. What a great ride it was. Propster also shaking her head, but for different reasons. Well, it was a real battle here. Sibiak defended that inside line for all she was worth. She got it ahead of Propster, forced the German to go around the outside. Here they are in full flight. Little deviation outside that sprinter line from Sibiak as the pace took her into the banking. So she was first across the line. Once again, our officials is having a quick look at that on the video replay. Sibiak continues the celebration. Just wait till we confirmation absolutely of that. There you go. Nicola Sibiak with 2 victories ahead of Alessa Catriona Propster of Germany. .12.169 for the closing 200 metres. There you can see German coach making his representations on the officials' podium, thinking that perhaps the little deviation we saw from Sibiak there on our action replay may have impeded his rider. That will be the appeal being made by the Germans. The officials continuing to review the action replay. But walking away, I suspect the inevitable has been accepted. It will be the final victory ceremony of Day 3 of these championships. There is Nicola Sibiak just taking on board a little bit of hydration at the end of that. I'm sure the build-up to that was very, very tense moments going into the decider. Being congratulated by the Polish camp. And that result is confirmed. The reason she was looking a little bit worried there was we had not had an official announcement following that review and the appeal that was obviously made by the Germans, even though our on-screen graphic and the scoreboard here in the World Cycling Centre was showing Sibiak as the winner of that one. Ultimately, it all comes down to our race officials to confirm the result. And despite the appeal from the German camp, it's been ruled that Sibiak committed no infraction during that final run to the line. Not just the pace of the ride, she was giving absolutely everything going against that final banking and just deviating slightly from her line, but it was more due to the pace than any deliberate action, I feel, to impede her opponent. And so there we go. Bronze medal for Nikola Sibiak of Poland. So that was the final competitive action on the track on day 3 of these 2018 UCI Junior Track Cycling World Championships. 2 victory ceremonies yet to come. The first for the women's Omnium, followed by the victory ceremony for that very hard-fought women's sprint competition that has just been concluded. The women's Omnium will be first to come to the podium for the victory ceremony. And our first victory ceremony is for the women's Omnium. 4 elements of competition: scratch race, tempo race, elimination race, and the point race. So a busy day indeed for these riders, and a very, very well contested final point race has given us our 3 medalists for the Women's Junior Omnium World title. Presentation party in place. Slight lack of athletes. Here they come. So the first presentation, of course, will be for the bronze medal, taken by Marta Jasulska of Poland. So the medals and jerseys were presented by Renato Di Rocco, a vice president of the UCI, and also president of the UCI Track Commission. And Marta Jaskulska will be the recipient of said bronze medal. Marking a good day for Poland. Another medal. And a great ride from Jasulska. Another great ride from the rider in second place, and the silver medalist Daria Malkova of the Russian Federation, taking 2 lap gains during that final point race to haul herself up the standings. And finishing in the silver medal position, Daria Malkova of the Russian Federation. But the rider who is our overall winner, the gold medalist and the world champion for the women's Omnium, despite crashing in the elimination race, she fought back to win that race, and with a lap gain towards the end of the point race, really sealed the victory. Gold medal and world champion jersey for Vittoria Ghazini of Italy. So Ghazini, great championships thus far. Part of that team pursuit gold medal winning squad, day 1. And she proudly steps onto the podium. The The medal presentation is complete. The flowers will now be presented. And with the flower presentation to the gold medalist, her second gold medal of these championships. We will now stand in respect of the national anthem of Italy. So as the three riders take the top step of the podium, bronze medal, Marta Jasilska of Poland, silver for Daria Malkova of the Russian Federation, and gold, her second of these championships, for Vittoria Ghazini of Italy. So looking down on the track centre, one more victory ceremony to come for the women's sprint. So I just wait for the riders to step forward for the awards. You whet your appetite for day 4, the penultimate day of these championships tomorrow. And the action begins with the first battles in the men's omnium. Same disciplines we saw in the women's competition today. Scratch race, tempo race, elimination race and the final point race. But we begin with qualification for that competition, just to give us 20 riders to contest the omnium. It's the first action of tomorrow. We also have the women's 500-metre time trial competition, the men's sprint, which we have the qualifications today. That's reached the quarter-final stages tomorrow. We also have action for the women's points race final and the women's individual pursuit. All of that is on the agenda for tomorrow. Once again, we'll bring you live coverage of the closing session of racing tomorrow here in Aigle, beginning at 4 o'clock Central European time on our YouTube and Facebook feeds. And don't forget, if you'd like to look through all of the results and stats for today, if you visit the website of our sponsors of these championships, TISO, you'll find all of the results information detailed there for you as well. So I know a lot of people like to collect that information. It's a great resource for results information from all the major championships across the world. So we're almost ready to go with our women's sprint victory ceremony. If you have been watching our coverage during the week here, and you're within reaching distance of the World Cycling Centre here in Aigle in Switzerland. Don't forget, you can come along and spectate in person. Entry is absolutely free for spectators. And you're in for a treat for a weekend, 2 days of great action. World Cycling Centre, of course, situated here in Aigle, nestling between the towering Alpine peaks and the Canton de Vaud de Valais region. And just a little trip up the coast from Montreux, Vevey and Lausanne, all bordering Lake Le Mans. So it's a real focus. And if you can make it, we'd love to have your company here at the venue. And of course, you won't miss any action. We will bring you live coverage on the final 2 days as well. Here come the riders now for the victory ceremony in the women's sprint competition. Well, it was a tough battle for Nicolas Sibiac, having to go to best of three to overhaul her opponent for the bronze medal. But she did it, and she'll be the recipient of that that bronze medal, I should say. The UCI Management Committee, Tony Kirsch, will be the presenter of the medals and the jersey. And here is that bronze medal presentation, representing Poland, Nikola Sibiak, receiving the bronze medal. Second bronze for her, having finished in the bronze medal position in the team sprint as well. And the relief of overcoming the opposition in that bronze medal final evident all over her face. So, the silver medal presentation. Xi Fangyu, People's Republic of China. Set up a great battle for that gold and silver medal final. Didn't quite have the pace to overcome her opponent. A silver medal for Xi Fangyu. And now we come to the presentation of the World Champions jersey and the gold medal for rider from Germany, Leah Sophie Friedrich, is the new Women's Junior World Sprint Champion, adding to the gold medal she took in the team sprint as well. Second rainbow jersey, second gold of this championship. Crown and glory, the gold medal. She takes her place on the top step of the podium. Here, Sophie Friedrich, the new World Junior Champion for the women's sprint. Flower presentation will now take place, followed, of course, by the national anthem of Germany. The German national anthem brings to an end competition and presentations on day 3 of the 2018 Junior Track Cycling World Championships, with the podium for the women's sprint. Lots of photos being taken, and lots of great memories for those 3 riders. So let's look at the medal table. After the completion of 11 of the 20 events during the championship, Germany moves to the top of the medal table now. 3 medals, 2 of which are gold, 1 bronze. Italy in 2nd place, Republic of Korea in joint 2nd place, also with 2 gold medals. Russian Federation next in the standings. Further down the order, and is the rest of the medal table, from 11th down to 13th place. Still 2 days, of course, to go for more medals to be added to the halls of each of those respective nations. And here is a quick preview of our event schedule for our televised coverage tomorrow, which begins at 4 o'clock Central European time with the women's time trial final. As I mentioned, you'll also get action in the men's Omnium, played out to its conclusion tomorrow, the men's sprint also, and the women's individual pursuit. The women's point race also to be contested tomorrow. So do please join us when we bring you more live coverage from these Junior Track Cycling World Championships tomorrow. And meanwhile, we reflect on a great day of racing. Here's 1 or 2 highlights, and we thank you indeed for your company once again, and look forward to you joining us once again tomorrow when the 2018 Junior Track Cycling World Championships continue.